Hi, Mahogany.
Hey, sweetie, how you doing?
I'm well. How are you? You looking great.
I am well. But I'll be doing it while we talk. I don't think I shared your post, but I didn't share the actual live. But prayfully, people will come over, and as we get started, I'll share the post. But I'm doing great. I'm excited to be here with you. I'm just excited. I like doing interviews.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you. Thanks for coming. And Aaron is like cam up. I can't cam up right now, Aaron, because I have issues. And my laptop is on its way, guys. I finally ordered my laptop
That's
and my mic and everything. So I'm excited.
that's good. What kind of laptop did you decide on? I have a which one? A HP.
That's what I got, an
I
HP.
like I like
So yeah, I'm excited about that. But I promise you guys, the next stream I will be cammed up. And I know you guys saw my last couple of streams where I tried to cam up and it was a fail. Like I was on cam, but the audio was in and out and it was horrible. But anyway,
It's so cool. It
um,
happens to us all.
right?
Yeah, it does.
It's the worst. But so Mahogany, first I want you to tell us a little about yourself. So I want to start with where are you from?
I am from South Carolina, born and raised. I did leave for a little while, but I'm from South Carolina.
Okay, great. And how old are you, if you don't mind?
No, I don't mind. I'm 43.
Mm-hmm. And you have any kids?
I do. So I have one son.
Mhm.
He's 22. He's in college.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't believe you have a 22-year-old. You look 22 yourself.
Yeah, but if you think about my age, like, because I had him at 21 and I got married at 20. I just did everything boom, boom, boom. Met my ex husband at the age of 20 and
Mhm.
we got married a few months later, and then I had him at 21. So if you think about it, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, you did it the
Yeah,
right way. You married
yeah.
before you carried. That's what's up. That's cool.
And I don't judge people because things happen, but we'll get into that.
Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna get into that.
Okay.
Let me see what else I want to ask you. So what is your job field, your career? Like, what do you do?
Oh man, I've done a lot of things, but overall, most of my life, I've spent over 20 years in dentistry. But I've been in different fields lots of different fields of dentistry. But the
Mhm.
majority, I would say, at least half of my 20-year career was in pediatrics. So I worked a lot with kids. And then even afterwards, I continued to volunteer. You heard me talk about that a lot on my channel about the kids in the after school program. Me and my good friend, who's an entrepreneur, she's a business owner. We have started a program for autistic children.
Oh,
And
nice.
yeah, and this I'm gonna try and not be too long winded, but we plan on it. Next year, I'm going to be whoever wants to come. We're going to be doing another event to raise funds for autistic people, and it's so much fun. We have so much fun when we do those things. So yeah,
So I will
that
definitely try to make that. I can't make any promises, but I'm gonna try.
would be nice.
Right?
Where are you at?
I'm in New Jersey, so I'm not too far. It's only like what, like a 7-hour drive to you?
I mean, you know what? But you're young. See, I used to do long drives like that, but you're young enough you could still do it. But I would love it. I can't promise that Rashida's going to be there, but I'm trying to get her down there too so she could do her play. Me and you are going to get behind the scenes together as we get closer, and I'll let you know. Several YouTubers are going to be there that you. I think it'll be a great opportunity if you have any merchandise that you want to sell. Rashida's got her books. I've got I make crafts. I do candles and stuff. So if you have anything that you would like to uh, sell or tell the people about, it would be wonderful. So we'll talk about it.
Oh, definitely. That sounds fun. I can't wait. As a matter of fact, I'm not gonna promise, but I'm
Yeah.
almost positive that I will be there.
Oh, that's awesome! I would love that, girl. We're gonna have fun.
I
Yeah.
know, right? She'll be one of my favorite people, Rashida, you know.
Oh yeah. And I like to have a good time. Hmm.
Yeah, same here. All right. So my next question to you is why did you decide to start your channel and how long have you been on YouTube?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't even remember how long I've been in YouTube. I've been in YouTube. I know I've been in the manosphere space at least. I would dare to say 9 years. Like I feel like I came, like actually looking at videos almost 9 years ago. But I
Nine
was
years?
9 years. I know I had been watching. As far as my first encounter with the space was through O'Shea. It was before he even was doing the rumbles. It was when it was just him. That's just how long I go back. And of course, I stumbled onto other people. Um, I took to O'Shea because I like people that can make me laugh. I love to laugh. But I saw a bunch of other content creators. Some of them I liked, some of them I didn't. I liked O'Shea because he was funny.
Yeah.
And things have changed. Back then, the space was a lot more balanced. But I initially think I came on um, looking at conscious community, Sonetta TV, the Hebrew Israelites. I came into that conscious space.
Right. So you consider yourself pro-black, pretty
Yes,
much.
yes. But can I tell you what my definition is?
Sure.
So my definition, because people have so many, my definition basically just means that I try to do business with Black folks first. I believe in keeping the economics in the Black community first, support Black first. It doesn't mean I'm hateful towards other races because I'm not. It just means like I'm the type, if you had a business halfway across town versus me going to McDonald's or Walmart, I'm going to try and go to your business first, even if
Yeah,
I have to spend. Yeah, that's all it
that's
means.
the definition too. Like it just means you're for black people.
Yeah.
I consider myself pro-black in that way as
In that.
well.
Mhm.
Because I love my people. It is what it is. But
And
okay.
but you know what, Melanie? Other people do it in other races. They do it all the time. A lot of you look at the Asian community or Indian community when they have just certain functions. They tend to do business with each other. We the only people that really we don't do that. So
Yeah,
it's good. Hmm.
it's real good. And I mean, and that's why that's why we are where we are. That's why other people are able to come to this country, I think, like Indians and Asians and Arabics, and just their business flourish because they all like have each other's backs.
That's
We
it.
don't, like that's how
Yeah,
I feel. We don't have each other's backs. Like a Mexican can come here and build a whole community and everybody support each other. We
yeah,
don't do that. Black people don't do that.
yeah. Exactly. That's true.
All
I'm
right.
sharing it now, but go ahead, sweetie. I can answer any question you want.
Oh yeah, so okay. So you've been in this space for a long time, 9 years, and
Uh-huh.
you've heard it all.
So
You've heard all of the
you've been in
manosphere
this space
talking
for a
points.
long time. Oh,
9 years, and
uh-huh.
you've
Sorry.
heard it all. Is that me? Oh, sorry. Yeah, and you heard it all pretty much. Being that you are a black woman, you're a Gen Xer, right?
Uh-huh.
You're
Uh-huh.
older, you have a son and everything. Is there anything that you agree with? Because you are kind of like the person they talk about, older black women, blah, blah, blah. Is there anything that you agree with?
Oh, there's a lot that I agree with. That's what attracted me to the space. When it was more balanced, I wanted to hear the conversations from a man's perspective because I knew that they had a story. Um, and I wanted to hear the story. So, oh yeah, there's a lot of things that I'm not saying that the space isn't needed. I'm not saying that some of it's not true. I just think there's a balance that needs to be had that we're not getting anymore. We're not hearing that balance anymore. But I definitely think that they have some points, and there's reasons for why some a good bit of these men feel the way they do. My issue comes in with men or women when okay you have a reason because this is the thing, we've all been hurt, we've all gone through things, but it's what you do afterwards. Do you Is it something that you're just talking about continuously and you haven't really figured out how to get over it? Is it do you have a plan to help other people get through it, or is just something where you want it to be an echo chamber? That's the issue I have mostly. But to answer your question, yes, there's a lot of things I agree with. I agree with the fact that, but I look at things more equal. I would say yes. People need to watch their weight, but guess what? I think both men and women need to watch our weight. I think we both need to eat healthier. I think I think I'm just, when I hear the issues, I don't hear it from, I don't see it as it just being one sided problem. I see it as it being a problem for both of us.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, Elfie. Oh Lord.
Oh yeah, it's that's fair. So you just think everything is equal. You can't just blame. You're saying that pretty much they can't just put all the blame on women without looking in the mirror at themselves.
Right. I just really believe that even with the women who do that, it's like you're just not being realistic. This is the thing. If you're going to build up a community, when you look at other communities, they work together. They support one another. We're the only ones I see that is doing this right here, and it's not working for us. It hasn't worked for us for years. We've been going through this quote unquote gender war for a while. I say it's online because it's not in my real life, but online we've been going through this gender war for a while and nothing has really come of it. So why don't we try something different? Why don't we try to work together?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
But what is the biggest talking point that you disagree with?
Oh, okay. Oh, there's a few. I'm sharing it now, Boo. Let me come
Oh,
back
give
to
me
you
three. Oh,
so I
sorry.
can give you
Give me
three.
three talking points that you absolutely disagree with.
Okay. I disagree that oh God, that's such a hard one because there's so many.
Sorry.
It's really hard. Um, and I got to think about how I say this because, like I said, there's always some truth, even though there's always some truth in something.
Hmm.
Ooh, girl, you hit me. You're better at this than me.
Sorry. I didn't
No,
mean
it's
it.
okay. I'm sorry. Let me just gather myself.
Mhm.
Oh Lord, I do disagree that it's women's fault about because I've heard this is something I heard some men say that it's the woman's fault that um, our kids are not reading at a certain grade level. I disagree. I disagree because that child has two parents. And remember what we talked about. So when you have two parents, they're both equally responsible for you. So that's one thing disagree with. I disagree that um, um, basically that women are the cause of the downfall of the community. I don't believe that because the community once again involves a group of people, so you can't just put all the blame on one group of people. And kind of like we discussed before, like I said, there's a responsibility of both parents, the man and the woman. So how all of a sudden it just becomes the responsibility of one? No, you brought the child in together. The upbringing of the child is a responsibility of two. And I do not agree that women, the bulk of black women push when they accepted um, government assistance that they push their men out. I just don't buy that because I happen to have lived that life for a small period of time. I know people who lived that life, and like I was telling you, a lot of those women that accepted government assistance, the men were still there. They just weren't allowed to. Basically, his shoes were being hid under the bed, honey, but he was still there, and we know he was still there because that same woman would get pregnant often again and again by that same man that was supposed to not be in the house. And I have friends to this day that have those type of men around. They should be choosing better, but it is what it is. This is what our people are doing. They have those same type of men laying up on their sofa while they collect government assistance, and so the man is still there. And this is the thing: if you don't want your woman to accept government assistance, put her in a position to where she never has to look to go for help for government assistance. When I was, guess what? When I had my son, and yet true enough, I was married. But there are women that I know that had kids and they weren't married, but guess what? Their men took care of them to where they didn't have to go get government assistance. Their men made sure that they had milk for the baby, that they were taken care of. So if you don't want your women to take help from the government, put them in a position where they don't have to. So I gave you three. Did I give you three?
No, you did. It was three that you gave me. But
Okay.
it's some of the, see, you just went into some of the questions I wrote down for you. So let me skip this and I'll go back to that. Um,
Oh, wait.
so let's go to why do you think there's so many single mothers out there?
Um, we kind of, because we had such a long conversation, but I think the reasons I told you, back in that, what was it, the 80s and the 90s, right? Things have, I feel like the issue with our space is that we're talking about talking points from that have changed a little bit. We're still in the same condition, right? A bad condition, but the circumstances have changed. So back in those days, like in the 90s and the 80s, you had a very high teenage pregnancy rate. When you look at the numbers now, that rate has gone down drastically, which we should give kudos to our young people for. But what has changed is not so much, oh, I went to a party, slipped up and got pregnant, just had sex with some random dude. That's not so much. It's still happening, but I think what's happening now is people just aren't getting married, but they're still cohabitating. They're still having sex. They're living as if they're married, meaning they're living with one another and they're still having unprotected sex, and kids are being brought into the world under that. But the thing of it is, technically those women are still considered single mothers because they don't have a wedding ring. And so it's become acceptable. Back in the day, it really wasn't acceptable for things to go down that way. You know, you remember the term shotgun wedding, right? So if you got
Mhm.
somebody's daughter pregnant, you were gonna, daddy made sure that you took that woman down the aisle. And just right now, it's just like we've slacked, and so everything's acceptable, everything's okay. All these open relationships are okay. And so these kids are being born out of that craziness, out of that dysfunction.
Exactly, but okay. So, do you think it's because the women are like choosing poorly and they're passing up the good men? Because in the space, they say a lot of the women are choosing Pookies and Ray Rays. They're choosing the same pool of men. I think it was like the same, like 15% of men, and they're like ignoring the good men. So, do you think this is why a lot of these women are going through what they're going through with these men?
I really can't say that that's the main reason that that's what's happening. Because this is the thing about that. For some people, yeah, that might be the case. But like I said, for some people, it's not even that. They're just in these relationships and nobody's considering marriage anymore. It's just not important to our society anymore, in
Mhm.
their eyes. And so it's like, okay, we can have babies. It doesn't matter if I have a ring. It doesn't matter if I have paperwork. I've even heard men and women say that. And those of us who've been married and we've had the privilege of building things up under the guise of marriage, tax breaks and whatnot, we know that there are benefits to being legally married. But they fall for this, and so it just becomes okay to have children out of wedlock. And the thing of it is, like you were saying, sometimes I don't think it's. For instance, I'll give you an example. If a woman has been with a man for 2, 3 years, um, she pretty much feels like he's a good guy, right? But guess
Mhm.
what? Something can happen to where it doesn't work out. There's so many situations that I could just make up out my head, but it can just happen. Things don't always work out. I wish it was guaranteed where we could say, yes, I'm going to be with this person forever. Yes, I'm going to have this baby, and there's a 99.9% chance that we're going to be together forever, and he's going to help me raise it. But that's just not the way the world works. It's just not reality. So it's hard for me to blame anybody and say, well, you should have known better. You should have picked better. You should have saw this in that person. Because guess what? People give their representative, right? And some
Mhm.
people even hold that down for a very long period of time. And because people are just laying up with each other, and having sex, guess what happens in between that time? They produce children. And voila, now they have children and it doesn't work out.
Right. So I guess you answered my next question. I said,
What you
who
wonder?
who do you think is more to blame for fatherless homes, the men or the women? But you kind of already answered that. You said you don't really blame anybody for it.
Right. Can I tell you? I'll tell you something, and I'm probably a unique case. I'm probably one of the few women in this space that have actually had to pay child support. When I was in the military, I paid child support because my son, especially when, not even just when I was overseas, my son's father didn't want to move. We didn't want to uproot him from where his family was, right? My family,
Mhm.
his family. So but I was responsible for his child support. It didn't bother me to pay child support because I knew that was my responsibility. He was my responsibility, and I took it with joy. I felt it was a pleasure to take care of my own seed. And
Mhm.
so basically, some forgive me, Melanie, sometimes I can be so long-winded,
No,
but
no, you good. That's
basically
great.
that I'm leading to the fact that when you have children, whether you're a man or a woman, you choose to lay down. You already know what the I won't say repercussions are because I look at kids as a blessing, but you already know what's going to be what comes when you have sex, right? It's a process of reproduction. So when you do that and you do it without protection, you know there's a possibility you can bring a life into the world. So when you do that, to me, you're accepting that responsibility. Whether you're a man or a woman, you're both equally responsible. I gave you this example when we were talking. You think
Hmm.
about it just from just a science, even forget the law, but just a scientific point of view. Kids get 23 chromosomes from a father and 23 from a mother, right? So half father, half mother, that equally responsible for bringing a child into the world.
Right.
Hmm.
And that's true. And I told you how I felt about that, how, I'll get into that though, because it ain't about me. So let's talk about
Yes.
me.
Hey, Ronnie. Hey, Orlando, everybody. Wow.
Everybody.
Well, I think we have some of the same subscribers, don't we? Probably
Yeah,
so.
we do. I think so. All right, my next question to you is, well, you answered this too. How do you feel about child support? And do you think that in a lot of situations, women would get pregnant just to receive government assistance and child support? And you, yeah.
Okay. How do I feel about child support? I'm gonna be honest. I've talked about this before. I would like to see, particularly because I deal more with our community, I would like to see us not use the system, the justice system, to settle things between us because I've seen where it really is not fair and it doesn't work for us. So I really always advise people, if like me and my son's father, we handled our custody case completely outside of the courts. And there are ways to do it. I don't know if our people don't realize that you do not have to use the court system. You really don't. But the tricky thing is, do you know your partner? Do you know your spouse? Is your spouse, have you and your spouse had the conversation of, okay, just in case, we don't want this to happen, but just in case, how are we going to handle this? Are you going to ask the questions? Ask that woman, are you going to allow me to see my child? Ask him, no matter what happens, are you going to be here for your child? Have these discussions before you get into it. No, it doesn't guarantee it, but it gives you kind of a idea of the mindset of a person. Because some people will tell you right off the bat, child, well, if it don't work out, you're going on child support. Some people will tell you straight off the bat how they feel. So it doesn't hurt to have the conversation. And like I said, you do not have to use, people think you have to go file for child support or you have to do a custody arrangement through the court. You don't have to. If your spouse is taking care of that child, to be honest, you probably get more money just doing your own arrangement outside of the court because guess what? When they do it, the state gets most of it. You get what's left
Mhm.
over. So you're better off working with one another. The second thing is, you can make it the way that what works for you. For instance, once I did get divorced and it was final. When I first got home, I didn't have a place per se of my own, and I was staying with my mom, right? So it was very crowded, and my son was more comfortable with his dad at that time, and I would get him, and because he was more comfortable, he was already stationed in a school, right? Because I was away playing GI Jane, so better. But I had a comfortable relationship with him, where I would talk to his father on a daily basis, and I would pick my son up anytime I wanted to, drop him off anytime I wanted to. But he, for the most part, stayed with me on the weekends. Once I got on my feet, got a really good job, had a place that was big enough for him, guess what? He came and stayed with me, and then his father took him on the weekends. The court is not going to work those type of arrangements out for you. They're going to do what they want to do. And
Mhm.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna be honest, and I'm not a racist person, but I don't think. Listen, me and this black man made this baby. Me and this black man should be able to decide how we gonna raise our child. I don't need a strange person.
I
Um,
agree.
I don't need it and I don't want it. So we need to, I feel like we need to talk to each other. Stop running to the court system for everything. Now, there are going to be, let's just face it, some of us are ignorant as hell. And you're going to have situations, there are going to be situations where you might be with somebody that is going to fight you every step of the way, whether you did something wrong or not. Maybe they're mad that you don't want them. Maybe they're mad that you've moved on. And so they're going to make your life a living hell. Then guess what? You got to use the court system. But I would suggest that you get a mediator. And there's things you can do. I would suggest that you record everything that you pay for. Um, when you're through the court or throughout the court, record everything. Have family members there to witness it. See, there's things you can do to protect yourself, but complaining, that's not going to change anything. Protect yourself. Put it in the work. On the opposite end, you might have a and I've seen both of these situations. I have, Melanie. You might have a father that doesn't want to do boo. And when I say boo, I mean boo. Don't want to buy the child milk. Don't want to buy the child diapers. He out there, instead of helping the child that he has already, he's out there making more babies. Ain't got yours to think about. Ain't seen your child 2-3 months and ain't thinking about seeing him. The child crying, asking where daddy at, and you got to make up a lie. You know what I'm saying? To comfort the child. So you have triflingness on both sides. And what I would say, if a woman is going through that, you know, your child got to eat, and your child deserves to eat. If he will not feed your child, then you got to do what you got to do to make sure your child eats. You did not create that child by yourself, so it's not just your responsibility alone to make sure that child eat and is well taken care of. Take his ass to court. If he will not handle his responsibility, take his ass to court. If she's trifling in hell and keeping you from your child, take her ass to court. That's what I say.
I agree with that. That
Yeah,
was spot on right there.
yeah,
You both laid down and made this baby. I both got to take care of it. I do
right.
agree with that. But can we agree that a lot of the times women might weaponize, like they might use child support as a weapon towards a man just because she don't like him. She don't want to co-parent with him because she can't stand him.
Mhm.
So she puts him on child support. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that definitely. I'm acknowledging it happens. It definitely happens. And I've actually, not to put anybody out there, but I've had subscribers ask me what I thought, because I've done shows about this. It's actually happened to a couple men in my family, and I, in my own way, try to give some counsel on what they can do about it. Do something about it. Record what you're giving. Whatever you're doing, record it, record it, record it. Get your mother right there to see, and keep receipts. I bought this. I paid. She had my daughter had a birthday party. I paid $200 for the birthday party. So when she goes whining and crying to the court that you're not doing anything, here are the receipts, honey. Here are the receipts. And I got my mother to witness, and I got so and so. So yeah, it happens, and it's unfortunate. Um, that's why all I can say is try and get to know who you're procreating with before you procreate with them, because it could be. My mom used to say, "A moment of pleasure, honey. 18 years of pure hell."
Oh my God, yes. He's spot on with that one.
It's the truth.
It
Oh, girl.
is. It is. Okay, so we're gonna change the subject a little bit. So, okay, what is your take on Black men leaving their community and going overseas to start a new community? Because you are pro-Black, so I'm very interested to know what you think about that.
Well, the fact is, we can't stop anybody from going anywhere. But I'm gonna be honest. I think there's a fantasy going online that, um, to me, what I see happening online is a scare tactic. It's actually not new. It's been happening for years. This is not new. We've been hearing a group of people saying that they're going to leave and go get, and it's not just been from Black men. White men been doing it way longer than Black men.
Get a
They've
white
been
man.
over there. Oh, they've been doing it, getting them young Filipino girls and all that. And child, that's a whole nother story, because sometimes those young women are extremely young. But the point is, this ain't nothing new. My thing is, I think it's a falsehood to say that women are. I personally haven't met a black woman yet that's crying tears. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm not saying that to hurt feelings. I'm just saying the truth. I am not losing sleep because men is going overseas. Because the fact of the matter is, and this is something a lot of them don't want to admit. And I want to say shout out to Fresco Pablo. He always thinks I'm talking about him, but he found a beautiful wife, right, from overseas, right? I'm
Mhm.
not talking about men like him. If you are a man and you just could not find what you wanted in an American woman and you find it overseas, I am happy for you. The Most High bless. But if you are, the fact is, his type is few and in between. The majority of what I see happening with a lot of those men, they're going over there, and I don't want to cuss on your show, but they're
No, go
poking on
ahead.
something. They fucking on something. They not over there trying to marry something, Melanie. They fucking on something, they sucking on something, and then they bringing their ass back. And then next year when they go out with their boys and you know they're planning and they're talking about, yeah, I did this, I did that with so and so. You know, I had the time of my life. It's like a vacation that they take every year, and they get these girls and they have a bunch of fun. Um, and then they come back, talk shit to American women and say, see, this is what I had over there, you know. But the thing is, are you marrying these women? No, you're not. And truth be told, there's certain instances where just like kids are being left behind over here, kids are being left behind over there. This is something people don't want to talk about in this space, but it's happening. It's happening so much. It was happening a lot in the military at one point, to the point where soldiers weren't even allowed to go to certain areas because so many of the women were being left with children. And I know this because when I was overseas, it happened to one of the soldiers that was in our unit. Because see, over there, I use South Korea, for example. It's not like over here where a young lady can get pregnant and, you know, still move on with her life. Over there, they outcast you. You are disowned from your parents. You are put to shame, honey. You
Wow.
single motherhood is not is accepted over there. And so, you know, it was just a sad case because he did what he did. He know what he did, of you know, and because she didn't have any of his private information, you know, social and all that to follow him, he pretty much left her over there with the baby, and that happens. They
So
not
that's what
wiping
they're
these women.
doing? So they're going overseas, getting them pregnant and leaving them single mothers in their country and coming back here
Well,
to
I
America?
know, and when I was in the service, that happened um, in my unit, and it wasn't the first time. It's not unheard of. For the most part, most from my understanding, it depends. Let me just say this. I'm not going to stereotype people because there's when you travel into many different places. But there's certain areas, let's just face it, they're not built for marriage or relationships. They're built for a quote unquote good time. And that's what it is. And there's certain places you can travel that you could actually bring home a wife. And you know, so you got to look at where they're traveling, and you got to look at their reasoning, their mentality for why they're traveling. Are you learning the language of these women so you can actually communicate with them? Are you not even bothering to do that because you're just trying to lay down with them, and so their communication skills don't matter? Are you learning their customs so you can learn how to not be offensive to their people and their family members? Or once again, are you just over there for a good time?
Well,
So it depends on why you're going over there.
yeah, and you've actually traveled, so you're speaking from experience.
Yeah.
I understand. So it was something else I wanted to ask you about that. Um, oh, so you're saying they're put to shame. Is it because the people in these other countries are they racist? Like the women's family who's
Oh yeah.
getting these black men. So they're not accepting them.
Oh yeah. I wonder if my friend, I got a friend right now, I could call you, child. We talk about it all the time because we were actually stationed over there together. And so there's that. And what happens is your reputation precedes you. So if this is happening over and over, repetitive action, right, where a group of men, and it doesn't matter the race, I'm just going to say American men, right, or soldiers or whatever the subgroup is, if they're doing this and they're not committing, listen, these women, just like we love our women, these men over there, they love their women. There's somebody's daughter. There's somebody, you know, they care. They don't want to see these women get used and abused, some of them. Now, some of them are just flat out prostitutes. I'm just going to tell you what it is. But the ones that are not, the ones that are good women, and they've fallen in love with a soldier, and he's just going to leave. I mean, that's fucked up. It's fucked up. I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
Well, I just saw a video not too long ago. I think it was like a Korean woman or something, and she was saying that
Um,
the women over there actually desire black men. Is that true? Like, do they want a black American man? Is that what they want?
I will say this. So one thing I found out in service is that dark skinned people are all over the world. And so you have some Asians that are very, very dark skinned. I didn't realize this until I started to travel. As a matter of fact, one of my roommates, she was from Puerto Rico, but she was darker than me with an afro. You know what I'm saying? Just beautiful. But basically, I, I can't tell you that, but what I can tell you is if you're in Asia, right, there's not going to be a whole lot of white men. There's not going to be a whole lot of black men. There's not going to be a whole lot of Indian men. So when they see you, they know that you're a foreigner. And as a foreigner, you got foreigner money and foreigner privilege. You are 9 times out of 10 from the United States. You are 9 times out of 10 from working for the United States government or a military. So they know that there's opportunities with being with somebody like you. Like we cannot pretend that this is not running across their head. You make more in a month than some of these people make in 6 months. They are looking at you as an opportunity, and I'm not talking about just male soldiers. Are men. I'm talking about just the way a lot of foreign people look at us. What We can't be so naive to think, oh, they just saw me and thought I was the best thing since sliced bread. No, they saw an American, and they know the power and the privilege that comes with being an American, and they want a piece of that.
So, okay, so you're pretty much saying they just really like the money.
The money, the opportunity to come here. A lot of times, yes.
Okay. Yeah, because, the men in this space are saying that these women are so much better than black women because black women are not submissive. Black women are not going to do the things that these women are doing. These women over here cooking, cleaning, taking care of the children. What else did they say they're doing? These women look so much better. They're in shape. They smell better. Their hygiene is better. This is what no, seriously, this is what SYSBM and the passport bros are saying. But we got to be honest though, 'cause I'm going to get into the image of black women. We're not looking so good right now, so I can understand why men probably want to escape this because we're not looking good physically and we're not looking good, mentally to some people. Not all of us, like we always say, but a lot of us. So you don't think they're genuinely trying to escape um this craziness here in America with the
I
black?
want to I want to take it back, but I will say maybe some men are. Maybe some men are. Maybe they're at their wits' end. They done dated 3, 4, 5 women and had a bad experience and say, "Hey, I want to try something else." I have no problem with that. But I want to get back to this poor hygiene thing. So I'll just use the South Korean thing. Most South and I just got so much evidence to this stuff. But whether you take South Korea or whether you take South America, um, there's stereotypes, and I don't believe in generalizing as stereotypes, but some of these stereotypes are given for a reason. Um, Most people around the world don't even have indoor plumbing or running water the way we do. In some places in Europe, the hot water only turns on a few days out the week. I don't know if people realize that. So the hygiene is definitely, we're not going to go there with the hygiene. Okay. When I was in Korea, most places they don't have an American toilet. You want to know what the toilet is? This is the toilet. Let me show you what the toilet is. And if I'm lying, I'm flying. This this right here, this is the toilet. There's a hole, and this is the toilet. So this
Oh
not
wow.
yeah, this nonsense, and half the time they ain't no toilet tissue nowhere to be found. So we're not gonna talk about no hygiene. And then you got a bunch, depending on where you go, you got a lot of women, and I can go from there to South and they won't deny it, to South America, where you might have 4 or 5 girls. Some of them sleeping on beds, some of them sleeping on floors, and some of them walking up and down the street with no shoes on. And I got proof of it. I could show you videos right now. So they walking on the ground, right? And jumping in the bed, not washing their feet. We're not gonna go there with hygiene. We're not gonna go there with hygiene.
Oh,
Like I said, some of these men, because they want to paint uh, African American women to be so bad, will just find just any nonsense they can to say, "Oh, this is why they're so much better." Nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. Now, what was that next question?
oh, sorry. Thanks for that. Um, okay, so thanks for that. Let me
Oh, you asked me, and I answered it. If we're looking bad, do they have a reason? I mean, listen, can I be 100% honest with you?
yes.
Black people right now is looking bad. Period in this country. Period. Period. And a lot of it we bring on ourselves because what we do, we pull out this, right, and we record everything and we upload it onto social media. We come out here bringing our worst foot forward, right? Hair bonnets, pants hanging down, ass hanging out. We have ruined a lot of our self image. And so, listen, I just have an understanding. Running away from issues never helps solve an issue. And the fact is, some of the same things you're dealing with over here, you could very well go over there and deal with it times 10. That's the truth.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, that is true. There's ghettos and hoods everywhere, but these guys are just pretty much saying that black women just ain't it right now. Like, I mean, and especially we're gonna. I can't wait to talk about the weight thing with you because you just stood up and your body is banging. So we know you don't have a problem with weight, okay? But all right, I'm gonna stick with the SYSBM thing for a second, and then we can get into that. So,
Okay.
do you think black men should stay here and save their own community, as Courtney Michelle stated?
I think that men that want to leave need to go. For some reason, like I said, go and find out what's real. Um, that's all I can say. Go and find out what's real. I don't see most people that travel staying in other countries. Usually they travel and they come back to the United States. If you find a woman that you want to bring back to the United States, do that. That's a long process, but do that. That do what's good for you. But the fact is, there's plenty of men that want black women. And I know that for a fact. My man particularly loves black women. There's men that love black women. And so my message has always been for black women to look at those men, to give those men your attention. Why are you going to pay attention to a man that says he doesn't want you? Why are you going to pay attention to a man that says that he's not attracted to you? Why are you going to pay attention to a man that says that you're not good enough for him? Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye. And pay attention to the men that actually want you, because there's plenty.
Okay. Well,
Yes.
some of these women nobody want. Let's be real. Some of them. Some of them. But what do you think the biggest problem? Oh, I think I already asked you this. Who do you think the biggest problem in the black community is, the men or the women? I don't think I did ask you that. But
You did.
I did, because you know the problems that they say black women have, that we're not submissive, all of that stuff I listed before. But
Yeah.
what are the problems that black men have in your opinion?
As far as which one is more problematic, I think we're both problematic. I think we don't hear one another when we speak, and we can't. We don't even try to really meet each other halfway. But um, the second part of the question was, what do black men?
Yeah, like what do you okay, I'm trying to what do you think black men need to change? Like what do you think they need to take accountability for?
Okay, I think black men, because as we know in this space, they want women to take accountability for themselves and their actions. That's all good, well and dandy, but I don't see, there are some, but there's not enough to me asking black men to take accountability. What about the black on black crime rate, right? Between men, right? We all remember there was a song about don't step on my Air Force Ones, right? And that actually came from something that actually happened in real life where a brother shot another brother for stepping on his shoes. And people started making jokes and then a song was made about it. But those type of stuff happen. You're robbing. A lot of times crimes happen between people of the same races. So there's a good chance that, if you're white, you're going to have a crime made depending on your environment by another white person. So we're black, 9 times out of 10, we're going to have another crime made by another black person. And with males, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be another male. So there's a good chance that it might be a male that robs you and kills you. There's a good chance that it might be another black male that sleeps with your wife. There's a good, like, when are we going to start calling out the BS that's happening from man to man? We got our, right? As a whole, the space has got their foot on black women's necks. When are they going to start putting it, um, asking their brother to do better? You're asking your sister to do better. You're almost beating a dead horse with it. But at what point do you look at your brother and say, you know what, you could do a little bit better too? Because, um, you men are going to have daughters and some of you are going to have wives. And, I don't think at this point y'all would even trust, let's say y'all went overseas and found a wife. Some of our people are so snake, they probably wouldn't, if they came back here, they wouldn't even trust their wife around their own people because they know that their own people have issues. We need to work on our issues, men and women.
Yeah, facts. But what do you think needs to be done between men and women to fix the community? Like,
Mhm.
yeah.
Well, I'm okay with conversation. I'm okay with conversations, but at some point there has to be some action. There has to be action. There's an old saying, faith without works is dead, and that's true. So you can believe something and you can read about something, you could hope, you can pray, but at some point you got to put those feet on the ground and you got to make some action happen. Otherwise it's just pointless. It's a waste of time. And that is what I find kind of frustrating about some of us, is that I don't see the 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 bearing of the fruit, you know. Um, where is the bearing of the fruit? What do you have planned next? That's why when I heard about the Manosphere meetup, I was very excited about that. Actually, I was very excited about the potential of men networking and actually coming up with some solutions, actually forming groups, actually forming networking things to where they could maybe sell their goods, educate one another. I was actually very excited about that. And whether I agree with them or not doesn't matter. I'd like to see more black men kind of dealing with each other and correcting one another versus always just worrying about what women got going on. I mean, I'm honestly of the mindset that really more women should correct the women. That's really what I'm of the mindset of. But to each his own.
Yeah, I do think that more women need to come out and help other women out because that's something that we lack as well as black men. Black men need to correct other black men. Black women need to correct black women. And we do have some women in this space trying to do that.
Mhm.
So hopefully
Yes.
that will work. Hopefully. Um, okay, so now let's talk about the image of black women.
Okay.
You ready?
Yes.
All
And
right.
I just want to say you're doing an amazing job. And I apologize if I'm being too long with my answers. I'm just trying to explain.
No, you're doing perfect. I think this is
Okay.
a great, yeah, I think you're awesome. So, all right, so we're gonna talk about the image of black women. Let me see what I want to say first. Okay, what's your take on the body positivity movement?
I, oh God, I'm going to be really hated for this. I don't think there's anything wrong with women accepting their bodies, but I think people take it to a whole new level. I think there's a balance. Do you know what I mean? I don't think that women should be shamed because they're a few pounds overweight. I don't think women should be like, oh, look at her and belittled. And Oh, disgusting. I don't think that. I don't think no human being should be treated like that. Should be ridiculed and made fun of. I just don't believe that.
Well,
I'm a very, uh-huh.
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I'm a very scriptural person, and there's nothing in scripture about tearing down your neighbor or your brother or sister. There's just nothing scriptural about that. And I've been in the health field for many years, and I've never seen that help a damn soul. Like I said, if you want to help somebody, give them some advice. Offer to, offer you concerned about health. Do some content about health. Give some diet plans. um, Show some workout tips. There's things you can do, but what we tend to do is we tend to ridicule each other and then act like we trying to help somebody. That's not helping nobody. You're just being mean. You're being mean and you're being nasty. But to answer the question, I don't have an issue with people accepting themselves and loving who they are, but at the same time, I'm not. If you have a health issue, we got to deal with the health issue. I don't believe in lying to folks and saying it's okay to be 300 pounds. That's not healthy for anybody to be 350 pounds, 400. Like, that's insane. You're not healthy at that point, and it's dangerous.
Right.
And I love you, so I want you to lose some weight for your own health.
Well, I don't think you should accept yourself the way you are. Like that right there, I think you should definitely get in a gym and work out. Never accept your body. Like that's what I don't like about Lizzo. No, I'm serious because Lizzo's out there weighing like 400 pounds, making it seem telling other women it's okay to be big, but it's not because you got diabetes, you got high blood pressure. What do you call that? Cardiac arrest? I'm sorry, I'm not good with medical. Yeah.
I mean, you could have it. You could have it if you got high blood pressure. You could have it. Yeah, you could eventually. But that's the thing. I don't know. I don't follow Lizzo. I've seen a few of her posts. She did that thing. She went with her booty cheeks out at the basketball game, and I did not like that. And I
It's
did a video
horrible.
about, yeah, that was horrible because you got kids around. I didn't like that. But her music, I don't know Lizzo. I don't follow her, but I will say this: I don't know how much she weighs. I did see her do a video saying, my thing is the bullying and people going over there calling her a hippo and all, that's not helping anybody. And I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying there's a way if you want to help somebody. I'm sure there's a way to go about helping somebody. Now, the video that I saw her comment on is that she was talking about the bullying that she experiences, and she was saying that you assume that because I'm big that I'm not working out. You assume that because I'm big I'm not on a diet plan. You guys don't know. And sometimes when people are big, there's presumptions. Oh, they're lazy. Oh, they're this, they're that. And you don't know. They might be trying to lose weight. So that's why I'm just saying in general, as a people, we need to be careful with how we talk to people online.
Okay. Well, you answered my next question, which was, do you think we should bring shame back? So that's a big no for me. I
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes when you shame a person, I think I think that helps them out. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I gained a little bit of weight. I'm 143 pounds now. I'm 5'2". And my mom kind of shamed me. You should be ashamed of yourself. You just eating and blah blah blah, and you're gaining weight. And it made me feel really bad to the point where now I'm on a diet. And now I'm gonna get my gym membership back and I'm gonna go to the gym because my mom made me feel really bad. And I'm not even fat, but I just gained a little weight, and I guess my mom don't want to see me let myself go. You know how some people just let themselves go, and hey, look, that helped a lot. So I do feel like if you shame a woman who's heavy or a woman that walks outside in PJs and all that, if you shame them, it might make them think twice. Like, well, maybe I shouldn't do this because people are making fun of me, and people are gonna laugh at me. So maybe I should straighten myself up. That's how I think.
I understand what you're saying. My concern about that, I'll just tell you, my concern is you're strong enough to take it, but let's say a young girl in high school that's overweight, she might not be strong enough to take it, or a young guy. We got to be careful. I call it bullying language online. And, it's probably different coming from your mother. Me personally, and like I said, I've been in the health field for a while. People, have different ways of getting a message across, teaching something. That's not my method. I'm more of a motivator. I'm more of a let me lead from the front. Let me show you a better way.
Yeah.
Okay. Like if I knew you personally and I was close to you, I might, it depends on, I'd have to get to know you, but I might, when we're talking, make a joke, and then I'll take your response, how you respond. If you take it like, oh man, uh, you're right, da 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 da. Then I'll be the type of friend to be like, well, maybe we could get together on the weekends and work out together. I just feel like that way is way more helpful than did you whatever on Twitter. Oh, did you see that f fat so and so, and just nastiness, just meanness. But I mean, you're entitled to feel that way.
Oh yeah, I think we agree on most things. There's some
Yeah.
things yeah, we have a lot in common, definitely. But
Yeah.
just that part, mm-mm. I think you should shave. See, and it's easy for you to say because you look like how you look. But
Well,
imagine you did look like Lizzo, or
well, my weight has gone up. I could show you some pictures. My weight, and people have been following me. Leo Anthony, a few others. They've been watching me and watching my weight go up and down because I had health problems, and so I was on medication. I was in a bad car accident, say last year. I'm just now starting to come back down. Last year, I gained almost 20 pounds. But the thing about me is I don't tend to get it in my face. I tend to get it in my lower half. So
which is
people wouldn't
good.
know. Yeah, so people wouldn't know really unless I stood up and my jeans might be tight. But I've battled with my weight. I personally am just really good at correcting myself, like paying attention. Mhm.
Yeah, that's really good. You have the willpower to, keep yourself in shape and everything like that. Eat properly, right? Exercise. See, I'm gonna be honest with me. It's hard. I love coffee. I love light and sweet. Every morning I have 4 sugars and I have cream every morning. And sometimes I'll do it twice a day. Or, I like my cake. So that's all catching up to me. The older you get, like I never thought that I would gain weight. I thought I would always be 120 pounds. I never, but just recently, since the pandemic, I noticed I started putting on a little weight. And
Mhm.
it's maybe I can get some tips from you because you look great. Maybe you can tell me what I should do, what I should eat, stuff like that to
I
help
would
me
love.
out.
You brought up a great point that I've been screaming to the hills. I was on Obsidian and I told him the same thing that men don't think about. It's harder for women to lose weight as we age because we lose muscle mass, and muscles what burns the calories. And not only that, our hormones get out of whack. So you haven't seen nothing yet. The older you get, back in the day, I could literally eat probably 3 or 4 slices of pizza and stomach be flat the next day and be hungry the next day.
Yes, right.
Now, if I eat one slice of pizza, girl, not only am I bloated the next day, like it's just insane. So you have to change. And this is something, and I'm going to talk about the Black community because I feel like a lot of us just have never heard this because I didn't hear it until I went, I did some training. I actually have a certificate. I am a certified fitness instructor also. I do step. I'm still in my classes right now, but I do that part time. But until I took some training, I didn't understand this. I didn't know about the hormone change. And so anyway, a lot of men, they have wives that have had babies and the women don't even know that it's going on. They don't realize, hey, there's been a dramatic chemical imbalance happening. So you could diet all you want, you still won't lose the weight until you fix the chemical imbalance. That
Mhm.
people don't know about that.
Yeah, well, that's some
Yeah.
good advice because oh my goodness, I don't want to wake up one morning and be 150 pounds and then be 200. I can't do that. Mm-mm.
I will tell you this and then I'll let you finish, Sweet Pea. For you, Clue, I am not sisterhood, honey. I have always stood by myself. But I will tell you, for you, because it's a sweet drink that you're having, what you
Every
choose,
morning.
what works is slow and easy, slow and steady, and slow and consistent. So slowly replace, maybe instead of 4 sugars, take it down to 3, then 2. then one sugar. And it's going to take a while because it's going to be bitter. Then maybe go to non-fat milk or whatever. I don't know what you put in there. And then slowly do sugar-free. Just slowly. And next thing you know, maybe instead of having two a day or whatever it is, maybe drop it down to one. And then it might take weeks. It might take a month to get down to this process. I've done it. I've done it several times. And then maybe a cup, just a half a cup. You don't have to drink the whole cup. Drink a half a cup, and then drink the rest water. Like drink maybe before you drink your coffee, drink a full cup of water so you're kind of full. And then that when you have your coffee, you'll just drink a half a cup. Small, steady steps.
Okay, little at a time. Definitely. I'm
Mhm.
gonna go. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna try it. Right now, I'm trying to just not drink coffee at all. Instead of a green tea with honey and lemon. I'm
Okay.
trying that out. I think that'll work. That way, I'm not adding sugar. But we will see. I'll also try yours if I can't keep up
Okay.
with that. But thank you.
You're welcome.
So, okay. So my next thing I want to get into is your take on women wearing weave, makeup, and eyelashes. Do you think it's a cover up for insecurity?
Um, I, to be honest, I think in some situations it could be, but I think in others it's not. So we all know about alopecia. It's when women tend to start to lose their hair for different reasons. A lot of times, and all women go through it. Doesn't matter the race. Um, it can happen naturally as we age. Like my mom's in her 70s and she's starting to lose her hair. My mom has always had super long hair, but as she started to get older, she started to lose her hair. Some women, because of years and years of putting chemicals in and wearing weaves, they've damaged the edges, and so now they have alopecia on the edges. Um, some women, because of the chemical imbalance, they're just not they have lost their hair, and so that's why they might wear a weave or a hairpiece. And so we got to kind of be kind of understanding. That's why I don't judge women. I do not judge women, and this has been around for years, since Egyptian times, since before Egyptian times.
Wow.
Far as lashes, saying it could be that you're trying to beautify yourself and you don't like the way you look without it. It
Mhm.
could be.
It can be all of that. Well, I like lashes. I
Me
like
too.
extensions. I like all of that. And no, I'm not insecure. But what kills me is when women wear it so much that they forget who they are. They forget what they look like. They get with a man, the man never sees them without the stuff. So when they do take it off, the man don't even want anything to do with them anymore. And I
Mhm.
think that's what's going on with a lot of black women, and that's why black men are starting to say they want a natural woman.
This is the thing. I don't think there's anything wrong. I went natural because my man liked me natural, and now that's what I get. Men that like natural hair, they tend to like me.
Mhm.
They like the way I look. But this is what I would tell men: if you're a single man and you're looking for a woman to be natural, you got to give that time. I like to pick on the people in the chat. I'm gonna pick on Leo. Me and Leo go out on a date, but I have a weave. He likes what he sees, but I have a weave. Okay. And
Mhm.
the first date, probably not a good time to ask me to change my hair. I'm like, what? We just met. After maybe a few dates and we are vibing and things are good, and let's say we've been dating for a month, and he says, babe, I love your hair, but I think you'd be so much prettier if you went natural. There's a greater chance that I'm going to consider it, because now we have built something. You can't run around telling strangers what to do with their hair, just like I can't run around and tell the men in the chat, you know what, I don't like that shirt, you need to start wearing polos. It doesn't work like that. You can't tell strange folks what to do, even though you might be giving them some good advice.
Yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
Before I move on to the next question, I want to read the super chat. So Mills36, I think he likes what he sees. He's like, "Hey,
I
chocolate,
think I was talking to you too.
I'm talking to you. You the one that's cammed up. Hey, chocolate." And Dane C, thanks for the super chat. He says, "Melody and Mahogany, hey, hi,
Hey, I
hey."
love y'all. I will say some of the men in this space, thank God they understand me. Um, they understand. I really do love, I love black men and women. And I'm not here to be combative. I think a lot of people think that because they just don't understand me.
Right.
But mhm.
No, but I understand. I mean, everybody have their own opinions, and just because they don't agree with you, I don't think they're gonna not like you. So, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right, but I'm gonna get with the next question. Do you think men are capping when they say they want a natural woman? Because a lot of them be following the same woman on IG with long weaves, right? This is what people
Yeah.
say: long weaves, caked up makeup, and long eyelashes with fake bodies. So, what's your take on that?
I think I don't think it's cap. I really do think that men like natural beauty. I really, in my experience, I think they like natural beauty. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, sister, and I can show you some pictures. When I had weave, I never, I still, I get just as much men as I did when I had weave. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think our men, I think in a way we're kind of blessed that our men are a lot of times willing to work with us, and you know what I'm saying. Um, I don't think it's cap. I think most men like a naturally beautiful woman. Um, but I don't think it's a deal breaker either. If you know, because like I said, there's the potential for you guys to get together and you can work with that woman. You could convince her, hey, I want to see you with some twists. Can you take that weave out this month? Can I see something natural? And most women will comply with that.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask one more question, and then do you mind if I open up the chat, or are you scared?
I'm always scared, but I don't mind. I know who's going to cut off my head. I can tell you who's going to cut off my head. Mel is going to cut off my head, but I still love him anyway. Clue might cut off my head too, but I'm okay.
Well, listen, everybody, please be respectful. She's been in this space for a while, and just because you don't agree, don't mean you have to be disrespectful. And Mahogany, if you feel uncomfortable, just let me know.
Okay.
All
Hey,
right.
Kim. Okay.
Now, do you want to do one at a time, or you want to do a panel? It's up to you.
Well, if we can have a discussion where we all get turns and they're not just piling up on me, we can do a panel if you want to.
Okay. So you heard the guest. She said she want a panel. So I'm gonna drop the link after this question. Be respectful, or you will get dropped down. All right. So where is
Thank you. I just love you so much. Thank you.
it? We love you too. We love you too.
Yeah.
Okay. So I noticed you made a stream about chameleons in the space. What
Oh
led?
no, I didn't say comedians. That was somebody else. I think I have been talking about the fake women though. But go ahead.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they're chameleons, fake women.
Uh huh.
What led you to make that stream? And I want you to be honest.
Oh, I'm gonna be honest. I have been calling them out just like that's what the men don't realize. I've been calling them out almost since I got here. Well, at first I tried not to. At first, because I'm the type of person I will watch and watch and watch and try to give people the benefit of the doubt. But what is concerning me, like I was telling you, is that it's so many right now that's popping up, popping up. There's so many. I'm gonna be honest, and I my fear, because I believe black men have the right to voice their concerns and opinions. My fear is that eventually the black manosphere will be taken over by women. The most of the money, most of the subscribers will go to the men, to the women. And the sad thing is, like I said on that stream, is you got brothers in here that are good YouTubers, but people would rather support a pretty face or whatever versus. And I thought the manosphere was supposed to be about men first. I don't understand it. And I tried to warn the men about it, but it's like they don't want to hear it. They want a woman that's just going to say everything you say is right. They don't want any pushback. But my thing is there's no growth in that. There's no growth in me lying to you, brother or sister, right? To like we were talking about somebody being overweight. um, I don't have to be mean about it, but there's not going to be any growth for you for me to tell you, oh, you're overweight and that's okay. You don't need to lose some for your own good. I would be harming her. If I told a man, you know what, we don't need to deal with some of the behaviors of the men. You don't need to worry about stepping up your YouTube channel. You don't need to worry about your appearance. I wouldn't be helping him.
Right.
Mhm.
Exactly. And One more thing, since we're on this subject, Pearlie. How do you feel about Pearlie coming to the space and blowing up how she did?
Well, she pretty much told the truth on Obsidian. I just feel like she's just another one. She even said it. She literally said on Obsidian, she said, I didn't even start out with this content. I was doing completely different content. I started doing this content because it hit. And, that's why she started doing this content. And for her, it's about business. She pretty much admitted that she doesn't necessarily believe it. It's just business for her. So, I mean, how can you can't be angry with that. It's just how she feels. The thing of it is, if more of us from this space are supporting her than we're supporting our own people that have been here for years, black men in this space, then those supporters need to look at themselves. That's all.
Okay, well, thank you so much for everything. I'm going to take questions from the panel. I'm going to start with you first, Bronzebird, and then Marty. Okay, everybody mute up, please.
Peace,
Bronzebird,
God.
peace.
Peace, God. What's good? So I ain't even look. Listen, I ain't even got no questions. I'm just gonna give a shout out to Mahogany Roots. You know what I'm saying? I just want to say, like, sometimes I think you sisterhood. That's under investigation. I don't know. Smiles ain't fooling me, fam. Nah, I'm like, nah, but on the real, I mean, there was a stream you did a couple of days ago. I was like, I ain't gonna lie, I was not in my head. I was like, you talking some real shit. So, shouts to you. Keep doing your thing. Keep banging. I'm out of here.
Oh,
Okay.
thank you. Thank you. That was very nice of him. And just so he knows, he's not the only one that told me. I've pissed the men off. I've pissed the women off too. That's what happens when you try to be kind of balanced. Everybody gets mad at you. But thank you. That was nice. Okay, I'm a mute.
For that. Okay, let's go with Marty. Marty, what's on your mind?
Hey, what up, Melody?
Hey.
What's going on? Um, what's up, Mahogany? This is my first time actually seeing you and meeting you. How you doing? I am
Nice to meet you.
yes, I am very straight to the point, but respectful, not disrespectful. Um, I was listening to a couple of things. I kind of came in midstream.
Okay.
Um, and I was listening to a couple of things that you were saying. Um, man, we'll take one at a time, shall we?
Yes. Yes. Okay.
You mentioned something to the effect of let me go on the first point, the very first, when you were saying that it is like the responsibility. I'm not quoting you word for word,
Okay.
but you kind of alluded to somehow the responsibility of the some black men. We're not even going to say who, but it is the responsibility of the black men to basically kind of like police the community. Is that, am I getting this right or am I off?
Never said that.
Well, no, not word for word, but what I'm trying to get at is you kind of made it seem that the Pookie and the EL and the regular guy, this is all one gelatinous, one group, and it's not. I just want to make sure before I go in, is that what you were kind of saying?
No, never
Go-
mentioned that.
All right, well, go ahead then. Try try to break it down. Maybe I got it wrong. What were you trying to say in that instance where you were kind of putting it like, hey, it's up to you black men to police to, you were kind of like giving out rules that should happen in the community through your lens. Like, I see that men should do this checklist, 1, 2, 3. What were you trying to say in that moment? I'll give you a chance to clarify.
I don't need to clarify because I never made such a statement. Never. I've been on here for years, never made such a statement. What you might want to do is replay it, though.
Well, when I came in, you were basically saying, and I was commenting in the chat. So I heard what you said. I have no misunderstandings of what you did say. But what I'm saying is, I want you were saying something at this point in time. So before I go and give my opinion on it, do you want to clarify what you were saying?
No, I don't want to clarify it because I never said it. But what you could do is find it and replay it, but you won't be able to find it.
No, actually, I could do it, and I will chop it up. So you're basically saying you don't remember saying black men should have some responsibility. Again, I'm not quoting you word for word, but what I'm saying is the roundabout way you were talking about was saying that in the community, you guys are supposed to police the community. You guys are supposed to the violence. And what I was, typing you in the chat is like Pookies. You can't have black men police Pookies when his D is in your mouth at the same time. Not you personally, so don't take it personal.
I
But
get
what I hear a lot of women saying is like, our communities have all these problems, whether it be abuse, single motherhood, and all these things are attributed to a certain type of male, right? But
uh-huh.
somehow, women seem to put all black men in this one monolith. But when they want to have babies by certain men, they know how to choose those guys. So I'm just trying to get back to, and if you don't want to tackle that, that's fine. We can go on to the next thing, which would be the weight issue. And when you were saying you don't judge women. Now, do you remember saying that or don't you?
I did say that.
Okay. And I remember you saying the other thing, but somehow that went in the wind, but that's okay. Now, here's the thing. You say you don't judge women. Now, is that a winning strategy?
No, I just don't judge other people. I'm not a very judgmental person.
I understand that aspect of it, but we both live in the same planet Earth, right?
Yes.
Right. So we don't live in a idealistic world. We actually live in the world, the same world I live in, you live in, and judgment happens every day. Does it not?
Yes, it does.
Right. So to say you don't judge women, that's kind of like you would have to bleed that out in all aspects of life. And we know that when women talk to men, they judge men. And when men talk to women, they judge women. Nobody's just out there meeting people willy nilly and just going off of, hey, whatever it is whatever it is. That this is not, it's basically when I hear a lot of women talk like this, it's kind of like blue pill centric. Like everything's okay. If you're fat, the weight will somehow come off. Because I don't judge women, but the reality of the situation is this. The reality of the situation is that's cool. That's like hopium. It's like wishing for the best case scenario. And what I'm here to say, you girls don't have this kind of time to just hope it away. Like what you need to, this is just my opinion. I'm just some guy, right? But when I'm saying what I'm seeing here, in America, because I don't even want to just make it black women, because then people get real sensitive. But what I see in America is like this over coddling of females. Like, hey, listen, you're over 200 pounds, you're 5'4". It's okay. Instead of 3 cubes of sugar, just eat 2. These are not solutions. These are things that you say in the back alleys to make people feel good, pat them on the head and send them on their way. And if I look at it like, listen, nobody here is a spring chicken. You don't look like you're 17. I'm not saying you're 40, but you've lived life long enough to know that certain things work and certain things do not work. And if you're saying things like you want to have the community kind of like turn itself around, then you have to give hardline solutions. So when I see little things like women saying it's the responsibility of certain men to clean up the community while not distinguishing between the guys who have wrecked the community, but somehow assigning the responsibility to clean it up to certain men that had nothing to do with it, I have a problem with that. Number 2, when you have a clearly overweight problem, we're not even talking about the weave. We're not even talking about the bad attitude. When you clearly have an overweight problem in a distinct community, the solution is not to hope it away. Oh, you just eat 2 sugar cubes Monday, and then next Monday you have no. Take the Twinkies out of your mouth, wake up every day, eat natural foods, work out, and the results will come over time. That's more of a solution rather than hoping it away. So number 3, and I'm
Wait,
not trying to be,
after this, we're gonna
yeah,
let her respond, and then I'm gonna move on. Okay, go ahead.
yeah, you know me. I don't want to be too long winded. When it comes to appearance, and the black women tend to be the leaders in social media consumption. Do you agree?
I'm
And
trying to think if that's what I've read. I think, well, I can't say,
well, put it like this: whenever you speak to a black woman, right,
okay.
and you say, "Why do you act like this? Why do you dress like that? Why do you choose the men that you choose?" The number one answer is social media. Social media shows me these images of these rappers, so therefore that's what I like. I don't see doctors being cool. Social media programs me, right? Is that a fair assessment?
No, I've never heard a black woman say that before.
You've never heard a black woman say social media is very influential in her life ever while
No,
sitting on YouTube? Really?
yeah, really.
Okay.
But I am looking up something for you, but go ahead.
Okay. that oh, well, I mean that's a while sitting on YouTube, we're sitting here saying that social media is not, you've never heard black women say social media isn't representation. Like, aren't these the women out there leading the charge in representation in Hollywood, representation on film, representation in certain jobs through social media? Are we living in the same world? Like, but that's fine. Um, I'm just like so totally surprised. Like, you're a social media person on YouTube currently, and you're saying you've never heard black women complain about their choices in life based upon what they see on social media. Really?
Melody, when you get a chance, I pulled up the statistics on who watches more social media. When he gets through, I'd like to share it so we can look at what the facts are and not what he thinks are the facts, because I have it pulled up.
Okay, well, I'm going to read the super chats and then I'm going to pull it up. So,
Okay.
Bronzebird, thank you for the super chat. He says, Melody, is there timers for certain guests? No, but I'm going to just let everybody get it all out. She's going to respond, then I'll move on. So, yeah, that's how I'm going to be doing it. Um, but thanks for the super chat.
Yeah, it's funny how we can pull up stats on social media, but she had no stats about the weight. She didn't say, "Hey, let me go pull up that weight stats." She didn't say, "Hey, let me pull out the weight on single motherhood, the stats on single motherhood." And this is what I'm talking about. When you argue in good faith, this is not a gotcha moment. I'm not trying to have gotcha answers and gotcha questions. I'm just trying to just talk head on and not just really go through the rigmarole of saying what it's. And you said this yourself. You're kind of like a non-confrontational person, but in the real reality of things, you're in competition. Not you personally. I don't know you, but the reality of things is on all fronts. And because I'm talking to black women, I'm going to talk about y'all. Y'all being assaulted on all fronts by other women, foreign and domestic. If you really want to attack it in a military sense, domestically would be, I would just call it like Latinas because they grow up closest to you. Foreign, for the guys who can actually get over there, it's like literally no competition. That's like a nuclear bomb every time you go over. And so, when I'm talking about, you can pull up the stats after. I'm sure if I Googled something, I would combat you. But listen, the reality of the situation is black women live, breathe the shade room, lipstick alley. I mean, you've got so many channels, whether it be on YouTube, whether it be on Instagram, and even Facebook. To sit here and make it seem like I'm making this up is really disingenuous to yourself, because everybody in this chat room knows exactly what I'm talking about. That's almost like saying you've never seen an overweight black woman with a straight face. So I mean, if that's the way you want to do it, it's cool.
Well,
But everybody
before
here knows what I'm talking about. And I'm just saying, if social media is such a big thing, and I guess one of my questions to you would be, um, why don't women talk about the impact on social media on males? Because if social media, for the most part, governs the way you choose mates, governs the way you act in public, governs the way you have babies with certain men, well, wouldn't it work the same way where social media is showing men submissive, in shape women with their own hair? And so if we're guided to choose that, that's not like colorism. That's not like you hate your mother, you hate your blackness. It is more of a condition that you actually admit to. Because all I hear is women say, well, social media teaches me this, how to act this way, how to listen to certain songs, and that influences the type of men I date. So if I listen to country music and I like white girls, why do I hate myself? It's a form of media too. I'm just bringing it all the way out. I'm playing the
I
logic all the way out. That's it.
Thanks, Marty. But let me hold that thought. Let me finish reading these super chats. Smooth. Thank you for the super chat. He says, Marty Twan should pass the mic, please. Thank you, Smooth. Yeah. So we're gonna read these stats and then we're gonna go on to Mahogany. I have one more. I think I saw another one. Oh, Chowhound with the heavy hand. Thank you for the $200 super chat. Thank you, Chowhound, for that $200. He said, really, the issue of weight is really mute. The train has left the station on that subject. People are going to be the size they feel comfortable with. Thank you for that, Chowhound. What do you got to say about that super chat, Mahogany?
Says really the issue of weight is really mute. The train has left the station on that subject. People are going to be the size they feel they're comfortable with. I don't know. I don't think it's harmful to talk about issues. And you never know. Weight is one of those things that I think everybody, no, I think we all struggle with. It doesn't really matter the race or the sex. It's something that people are struggling with, and it has to do with food. It has to do with food quality. It has to do with access to healthy food. It has to do with a lot of different things. So I think we'll continue to talk about it. I do appreciate you sending that super chat to my sister because she deserves it. Can I address? Oh yes, go ahead.
Oh wait, no, you were talking.
Oh, well, I just want to address some things, not to do a back and forth with you. And then I know Mel was next, RBR.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull us up too right now while we're waiting.
Okay.
While you're
So,
talking.
sure. I actually had two of them. Let me go to this page. One of them doesn't include race, and the other one does. But basically, it's very interesting. But basically, they're very similar. But it's talking about here. I can go to the top. It's literally called Men versus Women, Who's More Active on Social Media. And to be honest, it's running close to neck and neck. So you do have a little bit more women when you look. It's broken down to sex, age, education, and money. But when you break it, it's really, they're damn near running neck and neck. Women at 60 are 76% and men at 72. And then there's another website pretty much states the same thing, but basically because the population our population is more whites than blacks, of course, their numbers are going to be higher than ours. That just makes common sense. So no, it's not true that black women are the highest consumers of social media because we're not the highest population. That's number one. So going back to the first thing that you insisted that I said, I never said. As a matter of fact, not only did I never say that black men need to clean up a community tonight, I've never said it in the almost 9 years I've been on here. Never made that comment because I don't believe that. I think we need to work together to build our community, men and women. So I've never said it. The second thing about the weight, like I said, I've been in the health field for many years, but I just recently got my certification I'm a part-time fitness instructor. So I know what I'm talking about. I'm not just going to smoke up somebody's behind. What I told far is telling Melanie to just slowly take her time and not cut herself off slow. That was advice for Melanie. Melanie is not extremely obese. Melanie doesn't need to lose a whole lot of weight. So that was for her. I believe you made yourself, and I mean this in the most genuine, nicest way. You made yourself look a little foolish because it's clear that you didn't listen to a word that I said. You didn't even know how old I was. That was one of the first things I said up here was that I was 43 years old with a 22-year-old child. And the last thing I will say to this man is that far as the issues of weight, I do not judge people on weight because I understand that there are things that cause weight issues, like we were talking about earlier, hormones, age, muscle mass. There are things that are contributed to people's weight. So why would I judge them? I know better. I'm educated. Thank you.
Well, in response to that, and I won't
There
be
was
long.
no response.
No, there is a response. In response to that, you brought up a stat about men and women, but we all know men and women are different. So if you're saying they're neck and neck, who's most influenced by social media, the men or the women? So yes, men can see the same thing women can see, right? But who's more susceptible to their primordial urges? Like when men see social media, we don't automatically go out there and make babies with every stripper that we see. However, the women that go and watch this social media, watch the programs, are actively out there to a tune of about 86% are single mothers. You have 16% of men making all the single mothers with the majority of women. So social media is more of an influence on you, the female.
I,
That's a fact. Now, the first thing, I didn't know how old you were. I never said how old you were. I actually told you I came in midstream, but I do see you have tattoos. So for a woman who's 43 years old to have a sleeve
well,
tattoo, that's not,
let's
you,
not.
you you
No
know,
person. Wait, please, no personal.
no, it's not a
I
personal attack.
want
It's
to
an
know.
observation. It's an observation that
Right, but
anybody
this
can
brother
see.
needs a lot to learn,
Listen,
brother. The out of wedlock birth weight stats go back to the
Let me just
1960s.
finish my
There was
point.
no social media
But
wait,
back
hold
point the
on.
then,
point is,
and we had
listen,
the same amount of
we don't have to come save
out
them. That's
of
not this
wedlock birth
moment. All right,
weight
relax,
than we
relax.
do
Nobody,
today.
listen. It's
Come
cool.
on,
Thank you.
brother.
We
Let
don't have to
somebody
save
else
them.
talk, man. This
We
brother's
we don't
Yeah,
have to
let
save
me.
them.
Actually,
But
I'm
come
gonna.
on,
Marty, wait, hold
yeah,
on. Let me,
everybody
come
want to
on,
save the
Marty.
women. This is
no,
No,
direct
we're not trying to save
conversation.
the
I'm not
women,
being
but
I
they had a
just want
disrespectful.
to.
78%.
It's always a
We
sin
had a
trying to come and
just let
save
someone
them.
Nobody's
else
saying
talk,
no
man.
Why
thing.
is he
Goddamn,
even
fool.
Wait,
talking?
RBR, hold on. Everybody, no yelling, please.
Everything was respectful.
Let's
Chill out.
be
No, it's not.
respectful.
Be
Misinformation
easy.
People are
is not
Put your
yelling.
respectful.
shoes
Mel,
on and
come
go
back.
relax.
Listen, Marty. Okay, I want to come back to you, Marty, because there's other
Come
people on
back
No,
to
I
that
didn't. I didn't
fool.
want to be up here too long. I just wanted to say my piece and
Okay,
just
get the
respond
hell
to
out
her.
of here.
And the
What
simp
the
guy, he can
hell?
go save her all he wants.
Monahan reporters was in
Go save
1965. There
him.
was no
Have a
damn
nice
social
day.
media. What the
Thank you,
hell is he
Marty.
talking about? We had a 78% out of wedlock birth rate in 1965. There was no social media. All these young niggas think they was born. They what the world started when they were born. Nigga, there was a world 4 million years before you were born. We've been there, done that with the out of wedlock birth rate. We we are at a point now where we used to have a 78% teenage out of wedlock birth rate. In 2008 that changed. The women average age of women that are single mothers are 30 and up onto into their 40s. So women are waiting until they have a better financial situation to have children. Women are divorcing, men die earlier than women. So there are a number of different reasons why women are single. It has nothing to do with the fact that you're black and white women are superior. Please stop it with that. That's nonsense. And yes, Oprah's a very great person. She will go down in history as probably one of the richest women of all time. And yes, she's a little overweight, but she has way more redeeming qualities than her weight. If you can't judge a woman by anything other than her weight, idiot, you're a fool. You in the club and you want to know how many fat women are in the club? How many fat women were in there, Theron? I don't know. I wasn't looking for fat women. I was looking for the chocolate slimmies. And I saw a couple of them in there. There was about 10 of them. I was good. So we don't go into the club looking for fat women. You do. Who was that fool?
I don't know.
Real
Um,
quick,
but but I do want to say, Mel, it was your turn next. So if you're listening, come back up here, Mel. Come
yeah, I
on.
really want Mel to come back. I apologize for that, Mel.
What
I just
what
wanted
what
him to.
Mahogany said was she said that the manosphere men should be the ones that deal with the manosphere. She never said anything about the men have to fix the community. Where did he get that from? So he's not even paying attention. He's looking at your weight. Stupid idiot.
Oh man. Well, let me finish reading these super chats, and then who was next? RBR, you're next, and then him, because I know you didn't get out everything you wanted to say. Hold on. So the next super chat is Smooth. Thanks again for the super chat, Smooth. He says, Marty Buzz Killiams. Now I gotta roll up again. Thanks for that. And I thought I saw one more. Let me go down. Did you guys see another one? Oh yeah,
No.
Smooth. Smooth again. He said, get off the panel and back to the future. Thank you. Thank you, Smooth. All right, go ahead, RBR.
All right. Well, first of all, I was going to say how beautiful Mahogany is and how beautiful you guys are. And your conversation last night was incredible. So
Thank you.
please, yeah, so don't think that because the women are dominating the manosphere. I think that what dominates the manosphere are issues. The major problem with the black manosphere is that it came out of the white manosphere. And the white manosphere was not going to defer to a black manosphere, which is why they kicked them out. So these brothers who have been following behind a bunch of white men, Jordan Peterson, a bunch of racists who talk about hierarchies with white people being on top and black people being their butlers and maids and chauffeurs. what kind of men do you think that kind of racist environment is going to spawn? It's going to spawn men that hate black women, that want to dominate and control black women. So if women invade those spaces and they bring clarity of issues and morality, which is what the men lack. See, the men lack morality. They teach how to get a woman, how to lie to her and fool her and trick her and tell her you're a high value man and you make 6 figures and you're single and you're waiting for the right woman and you treat women right and you got 15 babies by 20 different women and all kind of nonsense and you just lying through your teeth. Those men are immoral. And so when you tell me about the statistics and the baby's mamas, it takes 2 to tango. If you as a man are picking these women, the only common denominator in the messed up relationships in your life is you. Okay. So if you are picking these women and you're having babies with these women, that's on you. You know, it's hard for a man with low self-esteem to turn down a woman. And when women get hot, they can be very aggressive. And white women are very aggressive. And Latino women are very aggressive. And even Asian women are very aggressive. Now, they don't have to be as forward as men, but when a woman needs love, she's got to have it. And she will. And if you're not serious about a long-term monogamous relationship with this sister or this sister or this woman, then you better tell her. Don't knock her up and then say, well, you came after me. Well, she was hot in the panties. Well, I didn't make her have a baby. No, men should date and court women that they know they're attracted to, that they know they want to have a long-term monogamous relationship with, and women should get with men who want to be in long-term monogamous relationships with them. All of this sleeping around because you have some kind of low self-esteem, so you need to sleep with a different woman every night and all this and all that, that's nonsense. And if it's going to take women into the manosphere to teach these brothers how to date, all right, in the advent of social media, when people can lie and use filters and stuff like that, then so be it. Go get in there and go get them. Go rescue them. Save them. All right, now I'll let somebody else.
What the hell are you talking about, man? I'm not coming at you. I'm coming at RBR right now with this mess. I don't know what you've been listening to, yo, but
I've been listening to you.
Yeah, if you was listening to me, you know I don't preach lying or nothing like that.
Well, of course you do. If you're in the manosphere, of course you do.
Really? You even know the history about the manosphere period.
Nigga, I'm 62 years. I'm 61 years old, almost 62. You came out of the white manosphere. Come on. You came out of Tom Likas. You came out of Tom Likas. What does simp mean? What does that mean? What does simp mean? What does simp mean? What does simp mean? I don't hate black women. I'm a simp. I don't hate black women. I'm a simp. Is that what you're saying?
I see you simping for every freaking woman, cuck.
I'm not simping for every single woman. I was talking to the chocolate slimmy up there. I was talking to Mahogany Ruth. There's only 2 women up there, so I don't know how many women you think I'm slipping for. I don't see no fat women up there. What do you mean by simp? Define it.
Why don't you tell me? Because you're the one that's
it means somebody that doesn't hate black women and want a white woman.
Doesn't hate black women. Why we always got hate black women?
And then when you see the black woman, when you see the white woman, she's 300 pounds.
Come on,
criticize them also too. Ain't no woman, every woman.
Come on, fellas.
We don't support no dysfunction. We're not talking about the black man got chased out of the manosphere. No,
they got kicked out of the manosphere.
Black men's issues
got bounced.
Non-black men's issues.
You coons got bounced from the black coonosphere.
Shut the fuck up, man.
Come on, fellas.
I want to know what you came up for, Mel, because I know you had something interesting to say. So what's on your mind?
I wanted to get RBR's foolish ass, man, because he always come up here with the dumbest.
Because he always come up here telling the truth. I hear you. It's like kryptonite to him.
How much of a cuck you is? Yeah, we all know that already. I mean, come on.
You had
and so what if a man wants to spend casual sex all his life? Females do that shit too.
Oh my God! That'll help the community. Yeah. Well, then don't complain when you go to prison for not paying child support and all that.
Doing it responsibly, and they both agree to it.
Stop complaining. Well, then stop complaining.
So all right, guys, real quick,
because you complaining.
No, you were the one complaining.
You the one that's shaming people about it.
I'm not
Tell us,
shaming.
tell
Hurry
us,
up.
tell
Yes,
us.
you
Hold on, guys.
is.
Guys, hold on 1 second. Mel, you have anything to ask the guest? Any questions for the
Hi,
guest?
Mahogany.
Hi. We actually know each other. I think at first we've been on panels together, but I met him over on Little Big Nick's show, so I'm familiar. He's familiar with me.
All right. So you have any questions for her? Anything to talk about
I
on the
lost my train
interview?
of thought
He
because
can ask me
Monty
whatever.
said some of the things I was going to say, but differently. But it's not attack though. But as you say, you all new. It's mostly about the women's weight issues and stuff like that. I mean, congratulations, you becoming new fitness instructor and everything. You're
Right.
going to
That's
find out
dope.
that there's some females that technically will choose, no matter how much you be nice to them to lose the weight or be stern at them. Some females just choose to be lazy, fat moo cows. I mean, it is what it is. So you're gonna go through that also too.
You got some bad shorties that's moo cows, OB.
I don't think so. I mean, that's your taste. That's all good, bitch.
Nah.
Well, I don't really. I
It's
don't
fat
have a
girl winter, dog.
response.
Well, I deal with slim girl, winter and summer. So,
Why y'all capping? Let me.
Well, there was an order, and the next
Yeah,
after
the next
Mel's.
person is DC. DCL for life, Mills.
yeah, go ahead,
You have, any,
DCL. I'm gonna pass the
you have
mic to him.
anything you want to ask Mahogany?
Oh, it was just on the about the thing with the weight thing. My thing is a lot of guys just be
Oh,
capping. Now
so mm,
all I see all around is guys with plus size females and stuff. It just be a lot. It's a lot of cap in the space in this chat. That's all I see every day.
That's the low self-esteem.
I mean, but it just probably just what they're attracted to.
No,
But
no.
a lot of dudes just be. It's just a lot of dudes. They just capping.
Yeah, you're right.
There's a lot of cap going on. That's all I see.
I
You
just want.
can't keep a real sister.
I think you're right. I think there are a lot more men that they might be in relationships with plus size women, and a lot of them are okay with it, and some of them aren't. But I think the issue is they don't know how to voice that to their partner. They don't know how to communicate to their partner how they really feel about the weight issue, and they're afraid that if they say something that their partner is going to leave. And that's why I was talking about leading from the front. You want to help your partner by being willing to help them out, being willing to walk with them in the mornings, being willing to do a diet plan with them, being willing to give up your steak and bring some fish in the house, some salmon and some salad, being willing to be a motivation for your partner. My frustration, to be honest, and then I'll be quiet. My frustration is with people who are not the thinnest telling other people to lose weight.
Right.
That's my frustration. Yeah, but
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I see it's dudes. I ain't judging those dudes. They got breasts and guts out. They bigger than a female, telling her that she humongous and look at yourself in the mirror.
Well, let me go with Bronsberg because he was next. Hey, Bronsberg.
Yo, what's good, B?
What's
Yo, so
good?
check this out, yo. Yeah, certain dudes be capping on the Lizzo type shorties, but we ain't gonna even get into that. So facts, yo. Check this out, yo. So I got a question for Mahogany. You know what I'm saying? She's trying to be the new coalition for these pygmies out there. I dig that. You heard? So I got a question. I got a question for you, Mahogany.
Sure.
So, would you ever decide to do a panel or have a discussion with women around you in terms of like what they should do better to attract the mate that they want, especially black women? And this is going to be a follow-up question. What is some my fault, it's two, it's just one more question. So last question I want to ask you is what do you know specifically, maybe you did answer it, maybe you didn't, what do you know specifically is a trait that black women in particular do that is unfavorable that you see on a daily basis that men, especially in so-called black manosphere, right about?
Sorry, I think I'm choppy, but you said something that black women do that's unfavorable that the manosphere talks about.
Yes, that you know for sure is
Um,
true.
I was telling her there's a little bit of truth in everything, but the numbers of it is where I have an issue. But I think black women could definitely work on um, compromising in a way. Just some of us, not all, but I think we could, because I had to learn that. I had to learn on learning how to listen to a man, because it's not easy if a woman is not used to a man's voice, the depth of it, the loudness of it. And I'm telling you from my own experience. For instance, when I got divorced from my son's father, I was single and alone for many years by choice. The point is, it was when I first started dating the man that I'm with
Oh, you froze.
now.
You
It was very hard
froze.
for me to, really was. Oh
Yeah, you
no.
froze up. You repeat?
Is it me?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
you
you. You had
froze.
froze. Yeah.
I'll be back. I'll be back. Let me
Wait,
see
wait,
if
wait,
I
wait,
can.
hold on. Don't go, don't go. You was good now. You good now. You froze for a
Oh,
little bit. Just go back to when you were saying you was dating the
oh,
man
I
now.
was just, I was just saying that it's hard for women if they've been single a long time to learn to listen to a man. They don't know how. It's hard to give up the power. When you've been single and you've been the head of a household for a long time, you really have to train yourself to be more compromising. You have to train yourself to be able to listen to a man. Um, and I can admit that I had to work on that, because I was used to being the head of my household for a long time. It was hard for me to give up power. Can you guys hear
Yeah,
me?
we
Damn.
heard you. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you're like in
froze
and
for a
out
little bit,
though.
and
We hear
then
you
I'll
now.
be, I'll be back.
you want me to restart?
Oh, she'll be back.
All right.
Well, while we're waiting for her,
Game changer.
let me read the chat a little bit. And everybody, please keep it respectful in the chat. You might not agree with everything Mahogany says, but she is my guest, so we have to keep it respectful. Hi, Zero. Good to see you. Oh my God, Zero. I haven't seen you in years. Okay, game changer?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here, but I had a question for Mahogany, so
Yeah,
I
she's
guess
coming
it'll
back.
wait. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Jalen.
Hey,
Hey. Okay, so while we're waiting, let me read the chat a little bit. Oh, yeah, guys, and make sure you get those likes up. Hit the like button right now if you haven't already. Share the stream if you haven't already. Like, I need y'all support. I'm tired of y'all not supporting me, like, for real. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Okay, so see, I can't even read these comments. They're cursing and everything. Let me see. See, y'all not shit. Y'all cursing.
Oh,
Well, in
I'm
the
trying to
mean,
read the chat. Oh, go ahead.
oh,
oh no, if you're reading the chat, that's fine. But I was just gonna say, in the meantime, yeah, a lot of very interesting conversations arose from what was being talked about a moment ago, and I think one of the things that we probably would disagree on is how to handle the fat situation. I think that a lot of the women would prefer to be coddled or to have their fat sister coddled when discussing the issue, and that is to be, nice and sweet and say, "Oh yes, or I would like to work out with you," et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. However, what's the problem with that? Is that it implies a relationship with an overweight woman to begin with, meaning that you're saying that if a man wanted to talk to his woman about her weight, then he should do it from a standpoint of let's work out together, let's do this together. There is no together with fat women and myself. Therefore, everything I say to her will be as from the point of view of an outsider that despise her for not maximizing her full potential to be with a proper mate. So no matter what, it's going to be somewhat hostile, the relationship between fat women and the men who are simply not attracted to them. You won't be able to get them to, and it's a myth. It's a myth that men should get with big women and wait for them to get small because the love is so strong.
I
No,
can't
that's,
tell.
I'm sorry.
I said, I can't tell.
Yeah, exactly. Because once you get with them, you basically say that it's okay. They got what they want out of you.
Hmm.
It's kind of like hiring somebody as a doctor and then waiting for them to finish medical school. That's backward logic. So,
If they
Mahogany.
do game changer, it usually backfires also too.
Well, yeah, and worse than that, Mel, it fat fires. It
Exactly.
backfires because you've wasted a significant amount of time actually having to do a fat woman, which is not
Mhm.
something that is choice for men that prefer not to do such a thing.
Look at
Now,
Mahogany's face. She,
And the funny thing about it though, if she do lose the
that,
weight, most of the time she gonna want to dumping him and feel like she needs to upgrade.
wait, I want to
That's why
hear.
I said it backfires on that part of you also too. That
Yeah, I
usually
want to
happens.
hear him.
I want to hear Mahogany's response because she looked like she wanted to say something.
No, I don't have a response. My only response is if you don't like big women, don't date them.
I don't.
You don't. We get shamed for the
Why would date somebody
we
not
have a
attracted to
preference.
know if Jalen had a chance to ask if Jalen did Jalen have a chance? I missed it.
No, go ahead,
Um,
Jalen. What's on your mind?
No comment.
okay.
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 Okay,
Well,
go
I
ahead.
was about to say, yeah, we don't date them, but when we tell them that that's not our preference, we get shamed for not wanting to date them. And sometimes it could be both for men and women and stuff. That
Well,
you know,
Mahogany, I have a question. So you were saying that black women should learn to listen to the tone of black men, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Does that include my tone when I say lose some damn weight?
hmm
And I'm sorry if I'm choppy, but I'm talking about a man that she's like pursuing in a relationship. We don't have no offense, but we don't have time to be listening to random men online. There's too many of y'all, and to be
Right.
honest, and I've told women this: don't try. There's a lot of you need to do this, you need to do that. The fact is, every man is different, and every man wants something different. You worry about
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
the man you're with. You can't please a bunch of no. I'm talking about dealing with the man that she's thinking about being in a relationship with.
Well,
For instance, first time my boyfriend raised his voice to me, it really sounded like he was yelling, like he was yelling. Um, and I was like, "Who are you talking to?" It took us time to. What I'm trying to say is to get used to one another's ways, and just it's when you've been by yourself a long time as a woman, you're not used to a man and his ways. I don't know how to explain it.
no, I get what you're saying. The fault in that logic means that a woman will only pursue a guy that don't require her to improve or change in any way, meaning that she will only accept the leadership that she feels most comfortable with, not the leadership that she needs to improve. An analogy of this would be a person only accepting a job that accepts them for who they are. So if a person is working at, say, Burger King and they say, oh, I listen to my boss, they will never improve and become a doctor, lawyer, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, because these are people that want them to change for the desired need of the society that they're in. Now, a small number of these type of women is not a problem. However, a large number of these type of women makes it impossible to create a community with such thinking.
I, it's a lot of white women that's big too. It's all across the board. It ain't just black.
in
True.
It's
However,
the
not
we're
just
Western,
talking
there's
black,
about
there's a
creating.
lot of
but
women big period in the
Well,
West.
it's
well,
right.
true, but we're
But you know,
talking
I'm
about
just saying,
creating a black community, are we not?
right. Yeah, we're all black here, so we're talking about black people. So we're only concerned about black women.
But they only put it on. They only put like this overweight stuff on black. So I mean everybody overweight.
Again, this is a conversation of creating black communities.
I can hear me because I think well, I think what his point is that some of the men, and I'm not saying it's you, some of the men will complain about a black woman's weight, and those same men will turn around, get with the white woman that's literally the same size, and be just fine and be just
Thank you,
satisfied.
bro.
Well, okay, let's put it like this. I do not know of an individual man, perhaps
You
you
guys,
can.
I'm breaking up really.
Yeah, no worries. I want to say this. I do not know of an individual man that complains about the weight of black women, overweight black women, and then gets with an overweight white woman. I had heard several straw man brought to the person's attention where they complain about me complaining about the weight of black women. And then somewhere there exists someone who gets with a white woman, but these are two different individuals. Never in the same vessel have I seen it be both. So without particulars, I'd have to say let's stick to the ones that we know about. Now, as far as mentioning the overweight white women, we are having a conversation about recreating the black community. And we cannot do that with subpar women collectively. Subpar women who are out seeking to find the leadership of those who accept her subpar behavior is not going to fly. We need the overwhelming majority of both men and women to function at maximum capacity.
Well, we got Lizzo and Oprah. They overweight.
And single.
Well, okay, I'm just here. I mean, I'm here.
Well,
I'm
Lizzo's
here to
single,
see what
Oprah not married to Stedman.
opinions. I'm here to, I
They
have
don't want
my.
to be married. Dude.
Yeah.
I think
So
Mahogany's trying to say something.
Oh,
Hold on.
sorry.
yeah,
No, I was saying that I don't have a problem with other people have differences of opinion. I'm not one of those people like my way is the only way. No, you can have your opinion. Uh, I apologize for my internet was weak. um, but
Got
yeah,
like Wi-Fi, low
I'm good with
internet.
whatever the fellas are saying. They.
I probably
Well,
lost.
I think it's a service issue. Like in an area lately, it's been just a service issue.
Oh,
Um,
you're not doing it from in your house, like
That's that Cricket Wireless.
I
using
am,
the
and
Wi-Fi.
I even got a booster, but it doesn't seem to be boosting anything. So,
Computers ain't Putin.
but y'all, I mean, if anybody has any questions,
My,
that's
my,
fine, or comments. Anybody
Well, let me
else?
read the super
so
chat real quick before we go on. So thank you, Zero, for the $20 super chat. He says, "How come most of the horrible chicks are in shape for the bag, but the pygmies chicks are larger than life? How come? Why? Oh, and how come women reach their prime at old age for everything except weight? How come? Why?" I think that's for you.
Okay, so let's listen. I'm gonna break this down. The horrible chicks are in shape for the bag. Well, there's some truth in that. You are gonna find that women who there's there's money in beauty. I'm just going to tell you the truth. There's money in beauty. Women have found out that they can make money on Instagram and social media, and this has nothing to do with race. But they have found out that they can do this, and so they are their own product, if you will. Just like a man who works out, he's got a lot of muscles. He is his own product, so he has to take care of that product, and they make money this way. The second part is the pick me's are larger than life. I'm gonna be honest. Some of the pick me's, the people, I don't like that term because it can be used too much. But I've seen a lot of them that look like they're in great shape. To be honest, a lot of them look quite good. What was the last thing that he said?
Oh, let me go back. I'm sorry, I changed
No,
it.
it's okay, sweetie.
You're talking about the
The
super.
yeah,
Well,
last.
you
how
mean
come
a
women
female
reach their prime at old
sympathy?
age for everything
Uh,
except weight?
okay. Except
Well, you mean
well,
that a
like
female simp
like
pick me?
well,
Hold on.
what we were talking about is the changes that women go through, and Melanie was talking about the experience. Is I didn't know about it till I hit 40. There's changes, there's hormonal changes that affect weight. You lose muscle
Mm.
mass that affects your ability to burn calories, which affects your weight. So for women, it's the opposite direction. We tend to pack on pounds. We tend to pack on fat. We have to change our diets and exercise throughout our lives to kind of maintain our weight.
And
But anyway,
you learn that the hard way because I've
yeah.
always been 115 to 120 pounds. I'm at 143 and it's not happy.
Not,
But
And
yeah,
and dudes still going to mess with y'all, so it don't even matter.
can I
well, when
interject?
women get fat, but you gotta be the best version of yourself. That's why I say bring shame back. Now, Mahogany don't agree with me that you should shame women. Do
Yeah.
I
anybody
don't.
in this panel
I agree with her too.
Can I
who
interject?
agree you shouldn't shame?
You shouldn't. No, you shouldn't shame women. It ain't no
Why
point.
Can I
It ain't
interject,
no point.
Melody?
Why shouldn't you shame women?
I think it ain't no point. It's a waste of time.
I
Why is it
think
a
what
waste?
you're doing is, I think you're dictating what kind of woman a man should date, and men are dictating what kind of a woman a man should
Right.
date. Now, keep in mind, you're using your dick, you're using your coochie, you're not using Game Changers coochie or Jamie's. So you
What?
have no reason to tell another man. Now, if there's some self-hate going on and you came out of the white manosphere and you're a coon ass nigga,
It's
and the
some
only women you
SBA or
get are
something.
the big fat,
Man, this
uh,
nigga wild,
you know,
bro.
Lizzo looking ass broads, well then okay, that's another problem. If you're a self-hate and you're looking for a white girl because you think some white's gonna rub off on your coon ass, then yeah, that's a problem. But to tell somebody that the
Why,
only
how
why
kind
do
of
much,
you
woman
care if
bro?
he wants to smash a non-black woman?
I
For?
don't care about you smashing, you
You
can jump
do
off a
care,
fucking cliff.
motherfucker, because
But
you
I
always
do
want to
care
change
about black
somebody.
people. Hold on, hold on, hold
Because
on.
everything he's saying,
Guys,
he's a
let's
Hey,
coon.
get
But
hey,
what about
hold on,
white
Well,
Fabio.
girls?
How much you
well,
weigh, bro?
You
you ain't
must
saying
actually
nothing,
think for,
so
you know what,
we don't
Forte?
care what you saying.
Fabio, you
But
must have
here's the
failed with
thing.
white girls, period. They didn't
I
even
know
rate
you
your
love
ass.
white girl.
That's
You
why I
wish you
was
were white.
mentioning
That's
shaming
fine.
people
But
for
Melody,
non-black
I was
women.
gonna ask you, Melody, would
okay,
you date
girl,
a
you can
guy
ask
who wants a white girl? Or Mahogany, there you go.
would I
Would
date
you
a
date a
guy who
guy?
wants
Would you date a guy who wants a white girl
Who
and be
uh
black?
cares?
What the
but if they
fuck?
want a
Now
white
let her
girl,
answer,
That's not your
Coon.
concern.
Let
if
the
they want a
sisters
white
answer.
if they want a white girl, why would they want me?
Because they can't get a white girl because they goddamn stupid and they can't have no
Right.
conversation and they dropped out of school in the third grade.
Hey, Melody,
Now,
can I
who would you
interject?
date it?
Stupid clown cuck.
And like some
Oh, hell
SBE.
no.
All right,
You
guys,
date this coon, Marty. No
Clown cuck.
conversation.
no
Third grade
personal.
intellect.
Listen, I'm not
Okay,
insulting
nothing's going
senior
on.
citizens tonight.
Want
That's
a white
Wednesday.
girl.
Damn. Just,
Okay.
Wednesday is senior citizens night. Be easy.
But can you
Well,
guys
you can
just
insult my
answer?
age because you're insecure
Be
about
easy,
your
old
age.
man. We're
Guys,
in
All right,
guys,
come
crucial
on,
let's
fellas,
times.
You're
fellas,
lying.
You
come
are
on,
back
nothing
to
fellas, come
the
compared
on.
to us.
You're not gonna
topic.
get old. See these coons.
Come on, y'all.
Let's
Come
talk
on,
about
y'all.
Guys,
this.
back
you
These
to
sound
the
coons think they're not
topic.
You
gonna
could
get
tell
old.
who's
They think
mad.
Y'all
Tupac.
Back
acting
to
like
the
females.
topic.
Chill out, man.
Back
They
to the
Be
think they're
easy.
topic.
Tupac. Well, don't we
Comport
talk about
yourself
this,
like the
bro?
old man you are. Chill out, man. Chill
I'm
out.
not. I'm not asking like no
I'm
teenager.
gonna
This is
Chill
read the
out,
coons that
man.
super
don't think
chat
they're
real
gonna get
quick.
old.
You gonna
You
catch a
have a
stroke.
habit of
Chill out.
decreasing dudes too much, man.
Hey,
That's
that
just
motherfucker
gay,
ain't
yo.
Tupac.
Guys,
Nigga, you ain't Tupac.
the host is talking. So let me talk. I'm gonna read the super chat real quick. Zero, thank you for the $5 super chat. He says, "How come that last dude sounds like he has a mouthful of crayons?" Who are you talking about? All right, thanks for that. Um, all right, so game changer.
Yeah.
My question for you, because I want to go back to the shame, because we're talking about overweight women. Do you think we should bring shame back?
Yeah, absolutely.
And
If not for the fat woman herself, for the ones, it's really more of to make a mockery out of them, so that other young women will learn not to become them. You see, Mahogany and I are of similar age, and we came up. We were kids during the crack era, and one thing that we did not want to be when we grew up, as a result of coming up during that age, is just say no, or excuse me, is a crackhead. And that is simply because so much fun, and they were made a mockery of, they were teased, everybody, no one, society in general did not have respect for them. And as a result, the following generation, us, refused to be that thing that was made fun of. So when you ridicule a fat woman for being herself, and her lifestyle, and things that lead to her becoming a fat woman, it does discourage the future generation of young jump rope girls to grow up and become fat women. And I think that that's more important than actually convincing a big chick to lose
Right.
weight.
Now, what do you have a medical degree or something, Gang? How do you know that women's weight is because of bad behavior and being cursed with the blood of ham? How do you
Because
know?
we see it all the time, you dumbass
Well,
cuck.
we're not.
hell?
Okay.
Oh, you can see
let
it.
me
Oh,
answer
you
her.
can
Let me
see
answer,
what's
Mel.
going on
You
inside
attack
of her
me all the
body.
time, you
Let
dumbass.
Oh,
me answer.
you're with her at
guys, we're having
mealtime.
a panel. Can we not argue?
Yeah, he's with her at mealtime, 24 hours a
Why
day.
y'all
So he knows.
Shit,
Why
man.
y'all
What
pick
the
my
hell?
panel to do this on? Y'all don't do this on other people's panels.
Well, they don't tell
Yeah,
the
don't.
truth on people's panels because they don't
Yeah,
like the
don't get
truth.
us. Don't get us
Yeah,
Jesus.
so.
tell the
Don't
old
get
man
us
to
shut
chill out.
down. Chill out,
Wait,
yo.
Melody.
The
I'm
old
not
man,
Don't get
chill
us
out,
shut
man.
down.
train of
Chill out.
thought.
Don't get us
I
shut
want
Yeah,
down.
you chill out, third
hold
grader.
on. Wait,
That's
'cause I got
Blood
yeah.
pressure is gonna kick in. Chill out,
after
man.
Game Changer
Yeah,
finish. I
when
want to
you're
hear
third grade,
from
your bedtime
But
gonna
chill
kick
out,
in.
man.
Let
Oh,
game
you're
changer
the
go.
oldest person here, but you're acting like an
I don't
idiot. Chill
care.
out.
You're the
Man,
dumbest
let
You're
person
the
Game
here.
Changer
oldest
have
Oh,
person
a
you're
here,
the
acting like
dumbest
an
person
idiot.
here.
Chill, man.
and
All right,
Dumbest
let's
person here.
let's
Man,
wait.
Aubrey ought
guys,
just be
Okay,
wild.
Go ahead, game changer.
let me
Go
answer your
ahead. Go
question.
ahead, game
Game
Yeah, I
changer.
appreciate
Changer,
it.
and then
Oh, I
I
Young,
forgot
appreciate it.
Jalen's here.
then Young East, and then Jalen. Did you have anything to
Yeah, I'm
say?
here, nigga.
Okay, so
Yeah,
I
man.
was the
outside
dumbest person here. I thought it was
outside of
Martin.
a ridiculously rare medical disorder like a thyroid disorder or something like that,
That's not
most
rare in the black community. That's not
it's
rare.
extraordinarily rare.
No, it's not.
Most people
Look
who
it
are
up.
overweight, most people who are
Look
over,
it
do
up.
you have a medical degree? All right, so most
No, but
people
I
who
have a
are
journalism
overweight,
degree, and that allows me to
um,
read, which is something you don't
We
do,
don't give a
Galen.
shit about what
okay,
you
well,
read,
I
period.
don't
So
give a
you
damn.
Oh
He
can't
my
asked. I told him.
God!
I have a
He
computer
asked.
science
I
Wait,
degree that allows me
Game
to read and
Changer,
write.
let him finish, guys. Let him
That
finish.
that being said, oh, and by the way, to all the literate people in the chat room, you don't need a journalism degree to do that.
You
All right.
do. If you want to
Furthermore,
find out the truth on something, you do. You don't
no,
just
you don't.
assume someone's medical condition because you're
No,
looking at it.
we
Oh
are backing
God.
up
You're
with
not that
facts. We
dumb.
telling
Now,
you,
when you're
we
in the
don't agree
third
with
grade,
it.
okay,
You know,
maybe.
you support the
Okay,
facts.
But when
We
you
so
can't
grow
check
up,
as I
you
was
All
don't
right,
do that.
so let Game Changer finish.
Let game changer
as I
go. Go
was
ahead, game changer.
okay,
RB all damn.
okay, thank you.
Shut up. Stop
As
addressing me, third grader.
as I was
Fuck
saying,
up, RB cuck.
as I was saying, most
Okay.
people do not need a excuse me. Dang, I lost my train of thought. Okay,
Me too.
so most people do not have a thyroid disorder. Most of the reason why people are overweight is because of poor diet and exercise, and it can
Yeah.
be
Well, that
proven
would be a
because
lie.
it happens with a change of culture. As the culture changed and people got fatter and fatter and fatter, it is really evident that this is the result of a change in behavior that leads to such thing, not a change in a person's genetic, which hasn't really drifted that much in one or two generations. Nevertheless, whether it is for I just want people to be as fit as their genes will allow them to be. And if it requires pointing out in a negative fashion that a woman is a fat ass B, then so be it. You know.
Okay. Well, that's
Thank
childish and
you.
stupid. Now, we did have a anorexic problem
Melody, who's
through the
next?
80s.
Who's next?
Well, Young
I would like
East.
to interject.
Wait, hold
Okay.
on. Young East is next, and then I think Marty again, then Mel, because I want to just keep the order.
Okay.
Go ahead, Young East.
Yo, what up? What up? You hear me?
Yes. Hey.
Ah, crazy ass panel. Anywho, I agree with Mahogany on some shit. Like, I like the fact that she's pro-black. She's down the middle. I see that. I see that she's down the middle with a lot of shit. But a lot of times,
Well, the music. The
fucking
music. Oh.
a lot of
Yep.
times when people are down the middle, I don't think they see it as clear as they should. Now, her take on the passport bros, a little bit of it bothered me. I'm gonna admit a little bit of it bothered me. I think that I don't think that it don't come off like she cares so much that if black men are happy apart from black women. I think that and it's not just her, there's a lot of chicks that think this way. It's like apart from black women, they don't really want black men to be happy because it's indirectly rejecting them. So they sometimes they start shaming and shit. Like she was shaming a little bit. She was talking about, and I get it. It's like a defense. She's defending black women, but she's talking about how these foreign bitches is stinking and dirty and they ain't got good bathrooms and shit. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's crazy. Here's one thing I think that a lot of, not just her, a lot of pro-blacks don't understand about men and women. In a relationship, if men give 100% effort and women give 100% effort, men are always going to do more. They're always going to outperform because men are more capable. We're more stronger. Okay, so we're just going to be more ambitious to achieve shit in a relationship. So if you combine the two and you say women give max effort, you say men give max effort, and women are going to lag behind. Now, with that being said, because men, they do more, they deserve to have more power, more rights, more say-so, more everything. And that's a problem I think that a lot of women have, period. This ain't just a black, white, anything. women cannot fathom and think that damn, it's not fair that he's a stronger species, that he gets to achieve more and therefore he has more rights. They have a problem accepting that shit across the board. Okay, so I think that black women are the most, they hate it the most. Okay, and they just need to come to terms with that, especially the pro-black community. Men run shit. We run the fucking world. If we don't say we don't do, we don't move, shit don't happen. Okay, so if you want anything done, you have to acquiesce to men. You have to get the women to do what the fuck that men say to do. If that don't work, then there's no fucking community. Ain't shit happening. Ain't shit moving. That's all I gotta say.
Damn.
Thank you, Mahogany. You want to respond?
Yes, it's so funny, and much respect to him. I know that brother. It's so funny. It's hard to, because I never said that. I never said that women overseas are all dirty. I was giving an example because you said that a lot of the passport bros, their whole thing is that they're leaving because, right, American women have poor hygiene and all this. So I was just giving an example. I was giving an example for an example. But my thing is, it's not that we do. Well, I'm gonna be honest. Why should I care if I'm sitting here, right? RBR has his black wife. I have my black man. Why should I care that people are going overseas? Go overseas. The fact of the matter is, like I said, I love the fact that people are finding love if that's what's happening. But a lot of the times they're not finding love. They're going over there, they're poking on something, and then they're coming right back here talking about how much fun they had poking on something. They're not necessarily wiping these women out. And I'm against any person using another person just for sexual pleasure and abandoning them. I just think it's kind of gross. And I don't care who does it. White man, black man, Chinese man. But to each his own. If that's what you want to do, is just you want to do that. I don't see what a person gets out of that. But apparently men get something out of that. I don't have much time
Excuse me,
left.
did you say you don't understand what men get out of sex?
Out of trying to
Overseas.
flaunt it
Going
in other
overseas.
spaces. Like, we're not losing sleep. I guarantee you, the men and women that are in relationships over here in the United States, black men
Could
and
care
women,
less.
sleeps about you, who you're fucking overseas. We don't care.
Could care
I don't.
less.
I
Can I
never
Wait, real
had
quick,
sex before,
real quick.
man.
I know she has to leave soon. Mahogany, please drop your channel. Moms,
Oh,
I
I
need the
never
mom to
did,
drop her
man.
channel and drop her cash app.
Jalen, sweetie, do you want to say something? You said you never had sex. That's fine. You're young.
Can
What
I
did you want to
interject?
say? Oh, sure.
Wait, before you go, I want the mods
Never
to
did.
drop Mahogany's channel and her cash app. What is your cash app, Mahogany?
Oh, it's just $ mahogany roots. And my picture's there. It's a different picture, but it's me, mahogany roots and MJ. Jalen, did you want to say something before I go?
I want to ask Jalen something
Nah,
too.
I never had sex with a woman. That's what I never did.
Well, Jalen, let me ask you something. If you ever
What up?
do, if and when you do have sex with a woman, will you feel compelled to tell others?
I keep it to myself.
There you go.
So it is very possible that you did have sex with a woman and you're keeping it to yourself right now, correct?
Yeah, that's correct, my brother.
But
Okay.
he's not. I know Jalen for a long time in these spaces, and
Good one, GC.
he's a sweetheart, and
That's what's up, dude.
Mahogany, I
So,
want to ask you something. If
could
both parties
you?
agree to having casual sex, even one night stands, what's the problem with that? Even if they go overseas to do it, if that woman agrees to want to do it also too, she consented to it, what's wrong with that?
They're happier having casual sex.
Yeah, can I
They're
interject?
happy parties agree to it.
I guess
They're
if
happier having casual sex than wifing up black women. That's what's really going on. They rather go overseas and trick or date or whatever, but they're happier doing that than wifing up black women. That's what's fucking these chicks up.
Can I interject before you go? Because I know you're about to slide. Now, I'm coming from this from a perspective. I'm the guy that travels, so I have a unique perspective
Here,
on
but chat, I'm not
what
trolling.
happens. what happens overseas with women, with finances, with investments, I'm the guy who can actually talk to you as opposed to you hearing it third hand from somebody you don't really know. Now, typically, what usually happens to guys who have options when they go overseas. Sorry, you want to say something?
I'm looking at the chat. Clue
Okay.
said that I'm getting triggered. I'm not. I'm
Yeah, no,
not.
no. Like I said, I'm very respectful. I'm just talking to you right now. Like typically, what happens overseas, guys initially have to get it out their systems in a new place, new town, new women. So obviously, men and women are different. You would agree on that point, right? At
Yeah.
least.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So the perspective on a man, our main objective for most men, not all. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but we want to go and experience a new country. We want to meet different women. And what typically happens when you meet
They're
different
tricking.
women and in different places, you tend, if she likes you and you like her, adults do what adults do, right? Now, if you particularly like to go to a place like a Colombia, Brazil, or Thailand, and you like the neighborhood, you like the culture, you like the people, what typically happens, you typically relocate yourself there. And then once you're there on a more consistent basis, now you can start to plan for the real man shit. You know what I'm saying? But I think the message that what happens is the women only see the short term. Y'all don't really judge it over like a 5 to 10 year span. Y'all just looking at the weekend warriors that go to Brazil and say, "Oh, I had a great time. What did you do? Oh, I met 10 women and we had a great time." That's the short term, and this is why you have to separate men. There's a difference between pookies, weekend warriors, educated lames, and guys with options. But like I tried to tell you before, what black women seem to do when things don't go the way you see it to go, like you said, "Oh, I don't see why men like to have sex." But at the same time, I don't hear women like you saying, "I don't see why women are taking men for free dates on foodie dates and not paying." See, when things happen on your end, it's okay. But when men benefit, however they benefit, it's a problem. And I'm just bringing this stuff to light. I'm not saying every single woman does this, but make no mistake, what the problem is right now, the well is drying up. Those dates, those foodie dates are disappearing because why? To travel, you have to have money. And typically, the backup guys that you would have to, not you personally, but most women would have to say, okay, I'm just going to use Roger. I'm going to use Jamal and extend the foodie dates, and I'm not going to give him no play. Guess what? Between the Me Too movement, between a lot of black women gaining weight, between other communities of women taking your best and brightest, and between the guys traveling, all the guys with the extra income are literally evaporating. And then when you turn it back on you, and this is why guys go so hard sometimes about the weight issue, it's like now you're demanding, and we've seen this for 2 years with Kevin Samuels. Every single person, whether they're cute, average, or beautiful, said, "I want a top tier 10 to 15% man." Right
I
now,
can't
when
tell.
10 to 15% men are out there, they're saying, okay, well, what do you bring to the table? You're bringing a lot of weight, you're bringing a
I
lot of
can't
kids
tell.
by other men, and you're bringing bad attitude. Now, once these guys diverge and
Niggas
travel and date other women outside the community and international, things begin to look grim. And that's just the whole point. So when guys come on here, it's not that we hate all women or nothing like that. Listen, I talk to black women. I am known in this space for dating the most beautiful women traveling in the States and out of states. So you're not talking to some weird incel who doesn't have his way with the ladies and doesn't have options currently. Like my options don't go back to the 80s. I'm like last week with it. You know what I'm saying? So you're talking to a guy who does this right now and shows receipts. So I'm giving you a direct line, like the bat phones, so to speak. So all I'm saying is when guys come in who have options, we don't have time to worry about your feelings. We just tell you what it is. We want this. And if you don't have that, it's cool, mama. You can be fat in your own way. And the guys that will accept fat women, there's a whole section, and they're usually not successful. Usually. And if
That's
that's
not
what
true.
you want to do, if you want to be with those guys, cool. But if you want to be with the winners, on average, most guys who make a decent amount of wage to rich tend to scale younger, tend to scale without any children, and tend to scale with women who are more feminine and can be coached. Now, if you look at the black community and the black women, these things you rail against, not you personally. You hear women saying, "I don't cook, I don't clean. You got it. Damn, you made a song about it. Then you have women going outside of abortion clinics making videos while pregnant, talking about this is what it is. And so this is when I hear women say they never heard black women talk about social media and how it rules their life. Literally, you make the image that the world sees. When I go overseas, nobody's actually coming from other countries coming into the United States wanting to marry any of you. It's always the opposite. Men are leaving to marry other women abroad, but name one race of men that actually comes from his country, oversteps his own women to date and marry you. You can't, because it's
They white
none.
men that go to Africa. It's good. It's a
They
whole
want their
continent
green
of black
card.
women
And
that
that's
go to
just a fact. So
Guys,
like
You
I
want their
said,
green.
it's not about hating women. It's just like, listen, if we are tasked with the responsibility for fixing anything, it's going to be on our terms or it's not going to be at all. And it doesn't matter how you feel about it. It doesn't matter the tone, because guess what? Kevin Samuels had a very favorable tone if you look back at it, and you danced on his grave.
Right. Well,
So it's
Kevin
not
Samuels
about
is gay.
it's not about tone. It's not about all these other things. It's like, listen, we're at the point now where inflation's going up. People are getting laid off. The government jobs that you had from that big daddy government, they're cutting it off at the seams. And you're starting to feel the squeeze. And the men who would typically be the blue pill simps are basically walking. And the difference is now we have YouTube and you're seeing it real time.
all right,
And the
Marty.
wall of silence is the craziest wall of all.
Marty, real quick, because she has to go. You can respond. Can you respond, Mahogany, and then I can
I,
have final thoughts, final questions, and then I'm gonna shut it down. But go
sure.
ahead, Mahogany.
Um, Once again, that was one of the first things that I said. Is the listening skills. Because if you remember, Melanie, one of the first things I said for men, I even used Fresco Escobar as an example because he's married to a woman overseas, and I said how happy and what a blessing that was that he found a wife. My issue, I've always said that there's a group of men that go over there, they mean business, they're going over there for love, and there's a group of men that's just going over there to poke on a little something, and this is not new. It might new for black men, but white men been doing it forever. It is not new. It's been around for 30 plus years or more. So it's not new. That's pretty much it. I'm ready.
Can I say something,
All right.
please?
Yeah, game. All right, let's start with you because we're gonna have the final questions and thoughts and words, and we'll do you, then Mel, then go around, and she can
Okay,
respond.
perfect. Thank you. So, what's going on, and this is to Marty McFly, is that we're deeply rooted in modern Black women's culture is a fear or an unwillingness to compete. So basically, when presented with a scenario when they might have to compete, they're going to come with a counter justification, whatever it is, no matter how absurd it seems, to not have to. In this case, we're talking about one where it's like, oh, we do not have to compete with foreign women because the men are just going there to poke on something. And since we don't want to get poked on, there's really no need to compete for that particular cohort of men. So no matter what it's natural in the thinking and the mentality of modern Black women to avoid competition with other groups of women and avoid competing amongst themselves, i.e. in the avenues of weight or being pleasant, things like that, at all
being
costs.
white. They don't want to compete with being white because they black.
Excuse me, it's not your turn. At all costs, Marty. So that is what you're dealing with. It's better to not engage on that particular level, or else you touch a very, very spot.
Oh,
All right,
Hey,
thank
Melody,
you.
can I go next? Because I gotta go. Can I go next?
Well, Mel, is that okay? Because you were next.
Go
But
ahead, Youngins, go ahead.
all right, go ahead.
That's just a quick comment. If there was an island that Black women could run and divest to, where there's a bunch of simps that was willing to trick and spend money on them, they would do it in a heartbeat. So it's kind of funny that there's a lot of shade coming to dudes that's doing that abroad shit, whether they're just tricking or looking for wives. It really don't matter. If they're having a good time just poking hoes, they're happy. Okay, I don't see. I think there's this, but by her wording, there's shame in that, which is dumb to me because Black women are mad that them niggas ain't poking them. So I don't get that part. But like I said, if there was shut the fuck, okay. If there was a place where motherfuckers was simping and going hard at simping, them hoes would jump over there. They got a whole divestment movement that failed. So you know they'll jump over there in a heartbeat. So that's all I gotta say.
Yeah, thank you, youngies. Okay, go ahead, Mel.
Yeah, I want to add 2 things what you was bringing up. Good points.
Oh,
First,
my turn also
and stuff.
after him.
Okay,
Yeah,
Jalen, you're next
but
after
the
him.
number one, you mentioned about the leadership role, and I think Mahagi was mentioning that about the problem in the black community. Well, put it this way: now black women now these days are putting in quotation getting more educated and starting up all these businesses and claiming they're making more money. Not more money than men, but they're still making a little more money than years ago. But they realizing one big thing that's backfiring on them. They're not getting the same outcomes as men. And they have to realize you're not equal to a man. I say this all the time to them. You cannot get the same outcomes as a man trying to be a man. And that's one of the things. You can make all the money you want, but you're not gonna get the same outcomes as a man if he make more money because we're different. Because we see each other different. And I want to shout out Angry Man for even mentioning this on his show. He said himself, they're not securing the bag. That's why they're failing so much.
Well, they're
So what's
not men.
happening now?
Shouldn't be
They
trying to
chase
get
most
that
of us out the household from raising our sons for the next generation to be leaders because they want to have control over the
Man,
baby.
Angry Man be going in on these
stuff.
broad.
Hold on, let me finish. Let me finish.
Hold on, yeah, let him finish.
Because they are having control over these young boys, and they know for a fact we see now why a lot of these young boys acting the way they are because they
Why
chase
they do
most of
that.
us out of the household from doing a proper job to these young men the way they are because they want to take control credit of them. And this is why we constantly failing. I said it all the time. You know what? You want us to fist the men? Okay, stay out of our way and let us handle the men. Y'all handle the women and stop micromanaging us and stuff. We handle the boys so we can raise them to be men and leaders properly. Y'all deal, women deal with the women and stuff, so they can be raised to be proper wives, so we could grow a community together. That's how you solve it and stuff. And
But
also
do you
too,
want
I think you want to mention too, young, it's about the island. He does definitely got a point right there. We have an island full of simps. A lot of females will go on that island in a
which is
heartbeat.
ridiculous and absurd
But
because he
also
hasn't
to
defined
shut
what a
the
simp
fuck
is.
up, RBR cuck. I'm
Shut up.
talking.
I'll
Define
be
the
all let the
fucking word
man
bitch ass
talk,
Jesus
word.
bro.
RBR,
Christ.
you're
I
you're
Shit,
at
talking.
your
nigga.
turn.
Shut up.
RBR,
I'm
you're
a
RBR,
simp
chill out,
at
motherfucker.
your
man.
Shut the
turn.
fuck up.
Hold on, guys.
Define
RBR,
simp.
you're
Yep.
I'm
after
almost
Jalen.
finished.
You're after Jalen. Go ahead. Go ahead, Mel.
Now, just like he said, you put them on an island there. They have a
Trying
rich
to
in the
make
heartbeat. They
define
go on the
simp
island
and
for a
they
bunch of
calling
simps.
somebody
But here's the
an
funny thing about it also too. They will sneak off at night and still go to the island to the men that they actually still desire. So
island. Oh,
they still
bullshit.
won't be happy. You give them
Women
all
don't
they
want no
want, they still
simp.
won't be happy.
Who wants a
They be
white girl?
satisfied one way, but another way, nope. So you know what I'm saying? That's all I want to bring up. Thank
Well,
you,
thanks for
Melanie,
that, Mel.
Mahogany. Take care. I'll be all stop being a bitch.
Yeah,
Thank you,
right.
Mel. Okay,
Thank you, simp.
Jalen. It's your turn, Jalen, and then RBR. Go ahead, Jalen.
Real, bro.
Man, you know how these divests are, bro. They just like being a KKK person. They love being doing this though. Hey, and these male feminists supporting this them divestment crew. I don't sound like an idiot, but it's just how it is.
Well, thank you,
Well, I
Jalen. Appreciate that. All right, go ahead, RBR. Your turn.
okay. Yeah, no, I just want to say that the coon ass niggas don't like to define the word simp. They talk about the investors and going to an island called the Dominican Republic and getting a bunch of broke women who need some nigga to buy them a stove. They can't afford to eat
Oh my
and to make
goodness.
them a sandwich. But the truth of the matter is that women should be looking for men who love them, not men who want to change them and turn them into white girls or Asian girls dipped in chocolate. They want to find men who love them. They don't just want to be fucked by some dumbass, insecure ass nigga who can't find a sister here. Okay? So if you can't get a woman here in the richest nations on earth with the most beautiful women on earth, and we got a whole continent over there in Africa where there's every type of female phenotype, every type of female phenotype that you simps want is in Africa. How many of you dumb niggas is going to Africa to get you what you want in a woman? You're scared. You got to go somewhere white. You got to go somewhere in the Philippines and fuck around and come up missing by messing around with some girl who don't know how much of a fucking bunch of coons you are. How about a bunch of weaklings? You are raised by these women that you are talking about, which is
Wow.
why you are so weak. This man is
Wow.
near 30 years old and he talking about he a virgin. Are you kidding
Who?
me? You,
Who?
Jalen. You.
Man, I don't care, bro. I don't give a
Okay.
fuck.
He gay as hell. He gay as Kevin Samuels.
No. Don't say that
Nah,
word.
don't
Don't
do that. You're
don't
gonna get a
you, bro.
channel
Stream
shut
shut
down.
Oh, it's
down.
you, bro.
You don't know the
Chill
law. They
out.
have no idea what the law says about media. You can say that word.
No, you can't.
You're
You
gonna get a
can.
channel shut down.
You, why don't you learn? Nobody's channel's ever been shut down for that word. Now
Yeah,
stop being
no,
silly.
no,
It's a
Learn the
seriously.
trigger
law.
word.
Grow up.
You can't say
Take
that
a
word. It's
class.
a
You, of
trigger.
course, you can say it. Don't do
RBR
that.
is her channel.
RBI, did you hear me?
RBR,
Did,
chill
RBR
out.
is her
RBI, did you
channel.
hear me
Nobody's
say
channel's ever
suck
been
my
shut
dick
down
to
like
you?
that.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
no, don't
Why
do
does
that.
it have to
RBR
always
is her
turn to
channel, and she
this?
asks that you don't
Well,
do that.
he's
So
a
don't
little
do it.
gay, but that's okay. It
Shut
happens.
out,
It's
shut out,
All
shut
it's
out.
right.
RBR is her channel, and she asks that you
Damn,
don't do
dude,
it.
I'm
So
not
I
gay,
understand,
bro.
but why don't
Yo,
you learn what a
all right,
channel
all right.
is
I'm
before
about
you
to
have
shut
one?
down because you guys are so disrespectful. Like I can't even have a panel with a conversation.
Well, not with these
Oh my
coons
well,
on here who
god.
yo,
don't know the
y'all,
No,
law.
all of you guys. Like, no, seriously. It's disgusting. Like, chill
RBI, didn't I
out.
tell
Have
you
a
to suck my
conversation.
dick?
all
I
right,
All
know,
right,
but
yo,
you
Jalen, you
shut up.
gotta go. You
This
gotta
ain't
go.
Uh,
HBO.
Bye, Jalen. Bye. Thank you. Thanks for
Gay
coming.
as
All
hell.
right, so
Before you,
I'm gonna read the last two super chats and then we have
Uh,
oh
man.
DCL for life. I'm so sorry.
Oh
You're
no,
gonna
you go ahead. You gonna read.
well, I'm gonna read them. So Black Ops,
Mm,
thank you for the $5 super chat. He says it's true. Only illiterate niggas date black women. Thank you
Yeah.
for that super chat.
Look
And the
at that
last one,
dumb super chat.
Black Ops, thank you for the super chat. He says, "Yo, drop that chess piece, nika, off the
oh,
panel." I appreciate it. Thank you. So DCL for life, your final words, and then I want to hear from Mahogany, and then that's it. Go ahead,
oh,
DCL.
wild panel tonight. That's
it's
Seriously,
good though.
it was good, but it was crazy. All right, go ahead, DCL.
yeah. Y'all just keep it short and simple. Y'all, I'm gonna follow your channel too. I'll check you out. And y'all just have a good night. Everybody be safe. You know, crazy out here. Yeah, I see y'all.
You
All right,
too.
thank
Good
you for coming.
good night.
Good
Good
night,
night.
everybody. Thank you.
Good
Oh,
night. Mahogany with the final words. Let's hear what she got to say.
okay. Yeah, you guys
Oh,
can stay up here with me. We're
uh,
often.
can I
Yeah,
just say
stay.
my little thing before you go? I'm gonna be 2 seconds. I'm gonna be out of here.
Okay.
You know, I appreciate you, Melody. You know, I just wanted to point out you are Latina, and I personally didn't appreciate from a guy who's in his 60s who's never traveled before. He doesn't know how to read the room.
We
You're,
go to we
you're
go to the
insulting.
Bahamas every
Hold
week,
Excuse
on.
me, I'm
every
talking.
year.
Excuse me. Have
We
some
talk
respect.
RBR,
5 times.
let
Some
me finish,
respect.
and then
You
you can
don't
Have,
know
respond.
me,
have
nigga.
some respect.
Shut up, nigga. You don't know
RBR,
me.
Have some respect.
let him
Don't lie
talk.
on me.
See,
Well,
this
tell
guy
that
has no
nigga don't
respect.
lie
He's
on me.
60 years old and
I
has no
claim you
respect.
12 years old. Well, you're 12 years old.
60
RBR,
Have
years
some
old and
respect.
has no
sorry guys.
respect. Take your medicines and
Sorry.
chill out.
Right. Well, take
So, like I
your
said,
warm milk and
anyway,
chill out. Stop
Mahogany and
insulting.
Melody.
Go ahead.
Well, you know, you got to read the room. No matter what age you are, you have to understand that the host is Latina. So, to referring
Um,
to her country as people who need
can I?
money to buy stoves, I take that very offensively because I've been to your country and other countries before, and there are millionaires in those countries. And so you can really tell who travels and who actually has respect for women because we can all get up here and talk all this black power stuff. But if you notice, my little smoke that I have for you is cool, and I put it in a bottle and I be quiet. I'm not sitting here over talking and being rude and cursing people out. So I just like wanted to point it out. Mahogany, you was a good sport. Sweet Melody, you know, we always go back and forth, and it's no hate. I love coming up on the panels. I do enjoy being here. And with that, I'm gonna be out, and I'm gonna subscribe to you, Mahogany, because if you
Oh,
do panels, I'm gonna hop on your shit. It's all good.
it's fine. I don't know if you'll like my content because I'm balanced and you're not. But
No,
thank
it's
you.
cool. It's all a part of the pie. It's listen. This is not life or death here. We just have opinions, and I'm not disrespecting you. I just have my opinion. You have yours. We can have a talk and maybe come to a middle ground. That's how adults do. It's cool. It's no
Okay.
hate. I love all y'all, and enjoy the night.
Yeah, I love
Thank
my
you.
YouTube family. Thank you, all my black beautiful people up here. Thank you. And I want to
Yes.
hear from Mahogany at the last words. Beautiful
Yes.
Mahogany.
This
That's
was this was wonderful. I had a wonderful time, and I do feel like everybody that came up was respectful. It is hard to cram. You know, we have so many talking points and just a few minutes to answer and ask questions. So I get it. No hard feelings. I appreciate all you guys. You guys have shown me a lot of love in the chat room, and you guys showed me a lot of love here. I really do appreciate you so much. The comment about talking about Latin countries, we know there's wealthy people everywhere, but there's also poor cities everywhere, even in the richest country in the world, right? In the richest country in the world, there's poor areas, right? So come on, come on. Anyway, I appreciate you all. I love you all, just like he said. And this was really nice. I had a great time. And let me just say this for my girl, Melody. Stop. I know y'all don't mean it, but it can be very stressful running a panel, especially when you like everybody, like Melody does. She's so sweet. But well, we can talk about it later. The only option I can give to you, sister, is like if they after you ask them to be quiet a few times, you might have to drop them just real quick for a second, and then bring them back up. But y'all stop stressing this girl out. I had a wonderful time.
Thank you so much. You see how much stress? Oh my
It
God,
can
I'm
be
so
stressful because
stressed.
she doesn't want you guys to get mad. She doesn't want to have to drop you. So just act right so she doesn't have to drop you. She don't have to worry about me though. I like her regardless.
Oh, I like you too. And I love everyone. Thanks for coming. Thank you, everybody, for the super chats. Hit up Mahogany's Cash App, please. Can you spell out your Cash App or
Sure.
drop it in
It's
the chat?
actually I had to think about it, child. It's actually mahogany roots in MJ, and I have a little. Can you guys see that picture? That's what I look like. It's my whole name, child. You
Yeah.
know, if you can donate $1 to the old girl, that's cool. If you can't, that's cool too. I just appreciate the support. Thank you, sweetheart.
Thank you for coming.
I had a great time. I had fun for real.
Me too. I'm going to hit you up after this so we can
Okay.
talk.
All right.
Good night, everybody. Bye. Good night.
Good night. Good night.
Good night.